lit by dark and moonless night, a sky that's full of stars, painting cornfields black and white, the slatted shade like bars. The world is not the world, it seems, at least not anymore. And while the house seems empty still, there's rapping on the door. A creature born of fear and hate, a division of lost souls. Two pieces of the one exists, comprised of separate wholes. A balancing of worlds, it seems, to equalize all things, a good and bad, a light and dark, of white and blackened wings. 3 parts of a soul exist, behind and keeping watch. Each part a fragment of the whole, a dagger-driven notch. And yet a piece behind remains within the grim lands, tied to chains, the form in which that vengeance takes, a childhood bare of ducks and drakes, a secret yearning to return, a monster too close to discern. And when the picture is complete, a history revealed, a tale within the wilder woods, a murder long concealed. You stand in the graveyard, the star-filled night sky devoid of moon, illuminating the outline of each and every empty grave that surrounds you. The 4 of you are looking towards the barn that spits. The small black bird is pointed out to you as being the home of something sinister, something dark, something that she believes holds a piece of what you seek.
This is where the appetite is?
Spitz sort of dances a little bit on the cobblestone wall of the graveyard and turns towards the 4 of you. Yeah. In there, she holds it. I remember her gloating about it once, the appetite. She said that she was the keeper of his appetite. And the bird sort of hops down to the floor of the graveyard, and starts pecking at the dirt.
She who, Spitz?
The bird flutters up and lands on Tam's shoulder, and sort of tilting her head, turns towards you, Maddie. The Spider Queen.
The Spider Queen. Like, Shalabi?
And she looks at you with lifeless eyes, confused. Obviously, she's never read.
His name is Shelob. Her name is Shelob.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember my mom reading it to me once, but whatever.
Yuck.
I kind of walk through the tombstones, kind of meandering, and kind of brush my hand on the gravestones.
Everything is covered in a thick layer of dust. It feels like for a long time no sun has shone here, no air. And you've noticed for the first time, this world that the 4 of you occupy is almost without breeze.
I bend down and I stoop at one of the gravestones and I blow off some of the dust.
Okay. And the dust sort of swirls in the air again, still.
It's sad that no one takes care of these. And I brush it off and I look at the names on the first gravestone.
And one of the open gravestones nearest to you says, Conrad Stanzik.
Marie goes over to kind of crouch beside Tam as she's investigating the gravestones. Who are these people that died here? And who buried them?
So as you're looking at all the gravestones, you notice that all the headstones are there, but the graves are actually empty. Some of them look maybe like they've been dug up. Some of them as if the earth just caved in a bit.
Do you
I
think
don't
it's
know
like a
who's
zombie
these
thing?
are. I met someone in the graveyard earlier, and he was digging the graves, and I helped him dig one, and it didn't seem like he was putting anyone in them. He just was digging graves.
Did he say anything about appetite or being hungry or anything?
No, he was a strange fellow. He didn't say too much.
I'm going to look around and, picking up on Tam's lead, I'm going to look at the other tombstones and try to find something that's out of place, maybe some information about how this Spider Queen works.
Sure. Okay, so why don't you give me a notice roll?
Seek.
That's the one.
All right.
Seek. Give me a seek.
Okay. So
2 to 5 is a success. So what's your grade in seek?
level 4.
That's pretty good. Hey, good job.
Oh, thanks.
Good job, bud.
Thanks, everyone.
It was just me that congratulated you. But good job. So you walk around the graveyard, and again, you notice the same thing that Tam did, that everything is in a layer of dust. The ground beneath your feet, the grass, is almost dead, and it sort of crunches softly as you move between the tombstones. And you look at the graves, and you notice something odd about a few of them. But as you look at the stones, you read off some of the names aloud. Ernest Wilbur Savini, Ella Mason, Charlie Dowd, Ellen Underhill are a few of the names. None seem to ring any bells. And some of the graves, as I mentioned, are open, completely barren, as if they've been dug up. But some of them look concave, almost like they've caved in a little bit. And as you, with your success in your seek, you notice that maybe they've been tunneled out from underneath. The space between the barn and the graveyard is pretty much on par. It slopes off slightly just before the barn. And as the wheels in your head sort of turn, you turn towards the barn. Behind it, you see the frozen lake. The barn sits in a gray, almost colorless tableau before you, and something sinister about the barn wafts over you.
Do you think that there's another way in? Look at these. It looks like they're dug up from underneath. I say, pointing to exactly what he said.
Hang on one
Spider
second.
webs?
And I want to run back to where I dropped the shovel, grab it, and come back.
Okay, so yeah, you run back to where you grabbed the shovel, and you have it. And interestingly enough, the grave that you were working on, the one that you so clearly saw the headstone for, is now blank. And you run back holding the shovel to where Georgie is.
Dig here, Tam.
I start digging, but I talk about the grave. Conrad's grave is now blank, so I'm digging up.
What?
No,
Look.
sorry, the grave that the grave digger showed you, that had a
Ah,
name that was very specific
right.
to you.
Okay. So I come back and I start digging.
So, what's the game plan here? Do we see if there's another way in, or do we just knock on the door and try to talk to her?
Talk to a spider?
Well, the bird could talk to it. I'm assuming that we could talk to it too.
And Spitz sort of flutters over and lands on one of the tombstones and sort of looks at the four of you and say, "You don't want to talk to her if you can avoid it."
Does she talk?
Of course. She's one of the
Like
oldest
people
creatures.
talk?
Like all of us talk.
Maddie, you're talking to a talking bird right now.
Yeah, but birds talk. Parrots talk. Parakeets talk.
And she looks at you,
Big
bizarre,
bird?
confused, and she
Big
says,
Bird talks.
"The Spider Queen, if you tried talking to her, she would just devour you."
So we have to try to sneak in, is what you're saying. How's that looking, Tam?
Tam, you're shoveling away at the dirt pretty easily, and as you come to near the bottom of the grave, which is a relatively shallow grave, mind you, because 6 foot deep for a little girl is going to take a while. Sorry, just a little kid. That's not a specific girl. That's just anyone who would take a while. I literally just fucking corrected. But anyway, you get down pretty quickly, even before anybody say anything. And you see that, that there looks to be a tunnel, a relatively large tunnel, maybe 3 to 4 feet wide and 2 feet in height, and it sort of runs off towards the direction of the barn.
And sorry, just to clarify, the barn is where who came from initially? Who started there?
No one started at the barn. So the barn sits again between the graveyard and sort of off to the west, I suppose, of the field where you woke up. You've each passed by the barn, but Spitz the bird led you from the grove to the graveyard to sort of show you where the barn is, because she believes that that's where the appetite of what you're seeking is, because she's heard the Spider Queen gloat about it.
Georgie, the person who Georgie saw in the room where he began, we wouldn't assume that these are the same people.
No, that was, well, I mean, you could. It was well south of the field, though.
Okay. Is that a tunnel down there?
It doesn't seem to be. Harlan, is it actually coming to a bottom, or does it look like it opens up?
Yeah, it looks like the tunnel stays about the same width and height, same size, running towards the barn. And as you sort of expose it, the waft of the smell, it's sort of a damp, rotting flesh. It's not sickeningly so. It's far off in a way, but you can smell it. And it smells like death and decay.
It smells interesting.
That smells horrible.
Yeah, I'm not going in there.
Marie kind of holds her arm down where Tam is working and like flicks the lighter just to provide a little bit of light into the tunnel.
And the methane ignites.
And we all die.
I pull myself out of the tunnel quickly, and I grab the hem of my skirt, and I rip some pieces off, and then I go around and I look for some flowers, and I start plucking some of the flowers, and I actually put them inside kind of the folds of this cloth, and I say, "Here, tie this around your mouth. It'll help. It'll smell nicer."
Okay, so
but you gotta know they're flowers.
So who do you hand that to?
I try to make one for everybody.
Okay, so you hand those out as Marie flicks her lighter, holding her hand out into the darkness of the tunnel. And the first thing you see are the sticky, gray webs surrounding the tunnel. They fill it, lining each and every small mound of dirt that surrounds this tunnel, and they go off. The glistening off the webs flickers from the light of your lighter, and you get an eerie sense that that something very sinister lie at the end of this tunnel.
You guys don't want to try going in the other way? I don't like this. No.
What other way, Maddie?
Well, I don't know. Like, didn't just go into the barn?
Go through the front.
Maybe not the front door, but maybe there's like a loose board on the side or something. I that just seems like a bad way to go.
Well, Spitz said that if we meet the Spider Queen before we get the hunger, she'll probably just eat us. So we need to be sneaky.
But you might have a good idea, Maddie. If we get up to the barn, we might be able to look around it and see if there's another way in, because you're right, it does look very creepy in there.
And it smells bad, even with Tam's flowers. And
yeah, exactly.
But the flowers do help. does smell more pleasant.
Depends how much they imagine it smells pleasant.
And they're imagining it smells like
Lilacs. Yes.
And now I'm just sleepy.
Oh, Poppy.
Lavender. Lilac.
Lavender.
Well, if we do go up to the barn and investigate, we're going to need a contingency plan in case it comes out.
That's a grade 7 word.
I know. Well, I've got to study at a grade 9. So.
Oh, right. You're fucking smart.
So what do we do if we have to fight this thing? What do we do? Do we run actually, or what do spiders not like?
That sounds like a good contingency plan.
Fire. Spiders don't like fire. And Marie slings her backpack around and kind of rifles through, and she pulls out her can of black spray paint and holds up her lighter, and she's like, I can do this probably 1 or 2 times, but I know how to make a fireball.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Something about spray cans. It's like you hold up a lighter and then you spray it and it makes this big flame.
I don't know if we should hurt the spider. I mean, I know it's this big scary name of hunger and appetite and all that, but spiders are often misunderstood. They're quite gentle usually, as long as, and it looks like the spider's just been eating dead bodies. I mean, they need to go back to the earth anyways.
Right, but if we have to, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have anything else. I have this. She's still going through her backpack. She holds out a Swiss Army knife with like a tiny little knife on the end. That's all I have.
And this spider be gone
That's good to
repellent, but what good is that? Huh. Who needs that?
Hey, Maddie, you got your backpack?
My satchel? I do.
Here. Stand here for a second. I gesture at the top of the grave, and I hop in. I'm not going to go in, and I reach into the grave, covering my mouth with the flowers, and I pull out a big wad of webbing, and I kind of roll it up into a bit of a yarn ball, and I hand it to him and say, this might come in handy later. It's really sticky.
Ah. Ew. Okay. Do you have another lighter? Because I remember at a sleepover with Georgie, I could make blue angels, and maybe that could help.
No, just this one. Sorry.
All right.
It's a blue angel again?
Bubblegum.
Show him.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
so-
I remember what that is. No, Maddie, I don't want to see it. I remember now.
Is it cool?
It sure is.
It's very cool.
Can I borrow your lighter?
Yeah.
All right.
So Maddie proceeds to light his fart on
I get
fire.
out. So I'm gonna need more flowers, and I start collecting more flowers.
I straight up don't know what you're talking about.
It's when you light a fart on fire.
It's called a blue angel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I had a very different adolescence.
Maybe Maddie, I put a hand on Maddie's shoulder. I said, maybe that should be the contingency plan when she runs out of spray paint.
Okay. I can be the contingency plan.
When Marie cottons on to what you're about to do, like rustling with your shorts or whatever, she's like, can I have the lighter back? Actually, just
Wait! It's gonna be good.
What just?
He's gonna poop himself.
Yeah.
Trying to squeeze it out.
Should we go and check out that house, the barn, rather? I guess.
Well, I'm up for it. Are you guys?
I think it's a good idea. I think that this tunnel could be a dangerous way to go in.
What can we see of the barn from where we're standing? How far away is it? Are there any windows facing us?
Good question. So the barn is a very large, once red, but now again sort of chipped away at paint, and everything in this world looks gray. It's sitting maybe, I don't know, a good distance away. I'm so bad with distance. That's one thing I'd like to be very good at.
Think
6.
about
Let's
track
say a
and
foot-
field.
It's
100
6.
meters,
Okay.
right?
Sure. Let's say it's 100 meters away.
I don't know. That's my only way of thinking.
It's this big. you know, if you're looking at it from my angle, it's like that big, okay?
This big is actually, that's a pretty good. Yeah.
It's good
No, I
distance,
like
right?
that.
Yeah. Okay. But it's also you're like kind of down a little bit of hill because you're up on the graveyard. Obviously, come on, guys.
Their graveyard's up a hill?
This one is.
I was picturing it.
Guys.
Don't get with the program.
Guys, come on.
Keep up, guys.
Get in here. So the barn is sitting there, large, broad sides. It's a typical rectangle fashion. The roof isn't exactly. It's not a triangle roof. It's sort of. I'm not sure what the terminology is, but you know what I mean. It's
Gabled? Is it gabled?
Is that gabled? Sure, we'll go with that. It's clarked, and basically, if you look at the front, from where you can see, the opening that's facing the road looks to be what was once just the side of the barn. It actually looks like it's been smashed. So you can see from your vantage point the dark insides of the barn from one of the sides. But it doesn't look to be that's where the doors were. They might be on another side of it. So if you were to approach from sort of where you are currently, you would be approaching sort of the open side of the barn. But you would be able to see it. Gambrel.
Okay.
That's what I meant. Clark Gambrel.
I don't think it's very wise. I think it's a bad idea for us to just walk up there where we can be seen from inside. Like, you know how when you're looking into a dark window and, like, you can't see very much, but whatever is inside of the dark place can see you really well because you're in the light and it's not? Should probably find, like, a sneaky hole.
Matty the Peeping Tom knows this well. He's like, yeah, I do.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's a great idea. And the little blackbird Spitz comes over to your shoulder, Marie, and she sort of nods and says, yeah. She sleeps a lot. And if you're quiet, you might be able to get in and get out with the appetite. But if she sees you... And she sort of flutters away and goes to the cobblestone wall again.
What does she look like, Spitz?
She looks like...
Big spider?
Giant spider. I'm trying
Is this a big spider?
Well, I'm trying to picture how a bird would menacingly describe a spider, and
well, because birds eat spiders, right?
yeah, well, this is a fucking big ass spider, and you're looking down, and
is
you
it
realize
like a wolf spider, or like a tarantula, or black
She doesn't know
widow,
the
or a
difference.
trapdoor spider, or like
it's a tunnel. It's a funnel.
brown recluse spider?
Daddy long legs.
Ooh, that'd be cool. She sort of describes what sounds like a spider, and then she motions to the barn that you can see, and she says, it broke into the barn. And looking down at the size of the hole that's sort of crushed into the side of it, you realize that this spider is maybe 15 feet tall. It's huge.
Okay, so is there any trees or anything around that I could grab a stick to put the wad of webbing on?
Absolutely.
All right, I'll do that. Rather than holding it or putting it in my backpack, I'll just kind of make like a giant Q-tip.
Perfect. And you do that. You grab a
and then
nice,
I'll just
bristly,
like
thick stick.
just keep touching Georgie's cheek with it, just very gently.
That's not why I gave you that, Maddie. Come on, focus. I say as I'm stepping around at a wide berth, about 40 yards from the barn.
Okay.
Walking around to the back.
So
how close are we now, actually?
Yeah, so you can approach down. I'll show you on the map.
I want to approach nice and quietly.
Okay, so I will need a roll for that. I also want to do a quick shout out to the very lovely and talented Michael Weber for drawing the map that I did last week in sort of a fun, kitschy way. Now you're going to get a proper version of this as we expand on the story. But let me just screen share this. Ooh, actually. Yeah, no, that's fine. Just so you can kind of get a direction. Well, I don't want to reveal anything else. There you go.
Get ready, guys. Spoilers.
Yeah. So this is the graveyard. So again, you're sort of up here in the graveyard beyond the cobblestone wall, looking down at the barn. And this side of it, the east side of the barn, there's a large hole sort of crashed into the side of it. But it looks like as you're approaching, you can kind of see that the natural entrance would be here to the south, where my cursor is, if you can see it.
No.
Okay,
No.
you can't see it. So, well, the south. The road that's leading directly into the barn from the south, that's
Right.
where the natural entrance would be, most likely. And perhaps at the backside, too. But where the, just below the graveyard, coming from the east, there is a hole, again, sort of broken into the side of it. And as you're walking down, Georgie, kind of keeping your distance, keeping a wide berth, are you crossing in front of that hole? Or are you frozen? It's your call.
He's choosing frozen.
He's choosing frozen. That's his choice, though,
Typical-
guys. I
typical
want to
Georgie.
make that clear. Okay, he left. That was his second choice. So I'm assuming
See,
Tam,
you never railroad us.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So you're following. I'm assuming all four of you are sort of. going
Yeah,
down?
so we all kind of like help boost each other up over the cobblestone wall and kind of trailing behind Georgie a little bit as he makes his way bravely down the hill.
Dum de dum de dum, and then Georgie dies. So that was his whole
Oh,
role.
well,
He should have done that.
I
When he did this
died.
stuff.
Damn it. Internet went down, I guess. Lag kill.
Yeah. And as so you walk around the barn pretty easily. So if you sort of go to the north of the barn where there are no sides, you notice that there's no windows or doors on this side.
There's
of the
no,
barn.
like, not a hayloft?
No, not here. It's completely enclosed. And as you walk around the barn, next to the graveyard wall, sort of to your back, you have an odd sense of familiarity about it, Georgie. You've never seen this exact barn before, but something about it feels like you might have. And you continue along the side of the barn, keeping your distance, and as you come to the west side of the barn, you see that it is again just a plain wall, no doors and no windows. And now you're actually at the dirt road, which runs alongside the frozen lake. And Maddie, when you were approaching from the frozen lake towards the mill, which was much more south than this with Luke, you remember seeing sort of the barn far up north. So you're starting to kind of gain your surroundings a little bit by understanding where you are. And you continue around to the south side of the barn, and you see that there are two doors here that are actually broken in and lying on the ground inside the barn.
So I turn around, and where are the others right now? Do they stay back further?
No, they're all like Abbott and Costello-ly, like clinging to your cloak. Like everyone's grabbing one. Fuck,
Oh,
I just
good.
want to watch Abbott and Costello now. Cancel the stream. Abbott and Costello marathon. Let's do it.
Movie night!
So I turn to Marie, and very, very quiet, in my quietest stage whisper, I say, so what now? Do we go in, or do you think we take a tunnel?
So all we can see basically is that the barn doors have broken off and are inside of the barn, and then beyond that, dark.
If you, from your vantage point, because I'm assuming you're trying to play a little bit safe. So
Yeah, we're
keep
trying to be
angles.
stealthy.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you sort of start coming into, you can see maybe a bit of dim light in there. And if you wanted to sort of get to a better angle, you probably would be able to see in, either through the south barn doors that are broken down or from the west gaping hole in this side of the barn. Both would give you a perspective in, but there are no windows otherwise.
Are there any spider webs that we can see inside of the barn?
Again, if you're willing to sort of look around, get to an angle where you could see, I'm sure you'd see something. It's up to you, though. You remain exposed, possibly.
Okay, here's what I want to do. I want to motion everyone to kind of hang back just a little bit, and I want to do like the sneakiest little peep.
Now,
so
are you
if I
doing
have
this?
to- What?
Sorry, just to clarify, are you doing this like from a distance, like to get an angle? Or are you going to be up against the barn at first?
Up against the barn and like a little eyeball,
Perfect.
like looking in, and then
So you'll just lose the
back.
one. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. So
And I
Marie
go back
motions
into
to you.
I go back into my satchel and pull out my guitar strap whip just in case Marie needs help. So I got my spiderweb Q-tip in one hand and my guitar strap whip in the other.
Okay.
Oh, that's okay. So here's an interesting idea. Marie slings her backpack around on her front as she is now kind of classically doing every time she reaches into her bag, and pulls out a compact mirror.
Oh, that's
and
a good idea.
It's It's a silver mirror, and it's got like a big red heart on the one side.
Yeah.
And
Where did you get this mirror from, by the way?
well,
Actually, Maddie, roll a seek, please.
I sure will, because that's exactly what I was thinking.
No, you weren't, you boob.
All right. So I'm going to roll a 6-sider.
Yep.
And then I'm going to get a 6.
Ooh.
And that bumps you up. Nice.
And then I'm going to get a 1.
So that's a success at a grade 4, which is very good. So you notice this compact mirror that Marie has just pulled out, and you recognize this as JR's.
Weird.
and
Do you
so
say anything, or are you just like, yeah, that's cool?
I'm kind of thinking, because I'm trying to think of JR as like, I don't remember her as like the very like charitable kind of, hey, you like it? Take it. And so I'm just kind of rationalizing that right now. But thinking, well, maybe that's just because I'm her brother. Maybe she's just like, no, that's my stuff. Stop. Get away from it. But that's weird. Seems like JR would get the...
Okay.
Hey, where'd you get that, Marie?
what?
That looks just like my sister's.
Oh, who's your sister?
JR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you've been over to our house before to visit or something, haven't you?
Yeah, me and JR were friends. I mean, we were friends like back like 35 years ago, which is like, I guess now also somehow.
And as Marie is saying this, you remember in your past life, you remember her acting weird around JR at Luke's funeral as well.
Yeah.
think you were there.
And actually, I seem to remember like JR like yelling at me for taking that because she couldn't find it. But I was like, I don't put on makeup. What? I'm not a girl. Maybe I like the only friend I have would be Tam, and Tam's not going to use it. So what would I need it for?
I totally didn't steal this.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Georgie's eyes go wide, and he kind of shuffles his shirt nervously, and he looks in the hole, the dark hole where the queen spider is laying asleep, and then he looks at Maddie and Marie, and then back at the dark hole, and very quietly just says, "Guys, is this the time?"
What? No, obviously not. Maddie's just asking me weird questions. Maddie, shut up.
We have to get the appetite. Tam, are you okay? You've been quiet.
Yeah, no, Maddie's right. I don't need makeup.
Marie, instead of peeking her head around the side of the door, kind of uses the mirror to be able to angle her vision inside of the barn.
Perfect.
What does she see?
So you see, and this is just to clarify again, this is from the barn door to the south, correct? Not
Correct.
Okay. So,
Right? That's where we all are.
Yep, that's what I thought. So you see the door splintered in fragments on the floor before you. And you see a dim light illuminating the barn inside. You can't quite find the source just yet. There might be sconces or torches somewhere, but you can't quite see them. And as you sort of shine around, you see the floorboards of the barn littered with fragments of wood and cobwebs. And you see the walls lined with empty shells of what were once human-sized webbing, most likely covering the bodies from head to toe. You also see, between the door that you're at and the large open area of the barn, you see a massive hole in the ground, dug. The floorboards are splintered and cracked, and there are planks, only a few, sort of haphazardly placed across the large hole. And you can't quite see from your angle how deep it is or what might be in it. You can only see the dark emptiness. On the far corner, across from that hole, right next to the hole in the barn, you see a bunch of pallets and crates. And just sort of on the opposite side of this wall, you see a small rope ladder leading up to a second story. And give me a seek roll. That's the sort of obvious stuff, obviously.
Right. Can I focus?
Yep.
Great.
You can focus, you can ask for help, or you can just quit now and go home.
I don't know how I could ask for help because I'm the only one with a tool. I guess.
Because they can. Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
Well, what I'm going to do is I am going to use my social chameleon skill again in this scene.
Okay.
And do the dreamer and use my imagination and try to think of all the things Marie would be seeing in there to aid her in doing so.
Very cool.
Okay. Wait.
I mean, I would say, like, in order for that to be possible, Marie is kind of like whispering under her breath about, like, okay, so I think that there's some shelves on the wall, and then Maddie would be like, all right, and like giving
is that what you're doing? Is you're whispering to him then?
Like really quietly, like.
Okay. Give me a hide
on the
roll.
ground. Okay. I can just roll this twice because it's my specialty.
Your hide? Okay.
It's a 6.
Perfect.
And a 5. So I succeed at a grade 6 level.
Perfect. You're good. Okay. So sure, let's let whatever just happened, and he will aid you.
Great.
Basically, I'm using my imagination as the magic in the Grimm world to make the mirror, in a sense, more magical, so she can see more with it.
Okay, so it's like
that's basically what I'm trying to do.
Gotcha. So it's like
you're right. I did not explain myself.
No,
well.
it's totally fine. Hey, listen, I didn't say you couldn't do it.
Yeah, but you're like,
I didn't even understand it, and I said you could do it.
So I'm gonna use Maddie's dice because he's helping me, and then I'm also focusing.
Okay, perfect.
So let's see how this rolls out.
So that means a 5 or a 6 will be a success, correct?
Okay, yeah. Well, it didn't work for me so well, but at least that one didn't happen.
So you got a level 3 success.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So you notice not much else, I will say. Yeah, no, you don't notice anything else.
Is there any movement at all in the room?
Okay, so you hold your mirror there for a good bit of time. And I will say yes. On the far wall, opposite to the open barn doors that you're leaning into right now.
So north wall?
Correct.
Okay.
You see a very slight movement of a figure, but it's too dark and dim, but it looks about human-sized. And it looks up against the wall. It looks like it's up against the wall.
I think there's something alive in there.
Okay. Are you gonna go first? Is this the way in?
I don't know if we should go in.
We have to get the appetite, Marie.
Yeah, but I'm really scared.
You can do it. I'm right behind you.
Guys?
It's really brave right behind you.
You can do it so I don't have to.
I think after all, guys, I think the tunnel might be a better idea.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know. There's these spiders I've read about that they burrow into holes and they jump out and grab whatever's in front of the hole.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about those. Well, it makes sense to me. I mean...
Wait, doesn't that make the tunnel more scary?
No, because the spider's going to least expect it from the tunnel. I'm betting that the spider hopes for people just to walk into their barn, and it's easy food.
Wait, okay. Come back over here. And Marie, like, pulls everyone back out towards the road so that we're not, like, having an extended conversation.
Now, you're far enough away now that you can do whatever you want.
Listen, guys, let's think about this for a second. Why are there tunnels going from graves to the barn? Why? Did something steal dead bodies?
That's what I would deduce.
I don't even know if there was ever dead bodies in here.
So why have a tunnel there in the first place? If it's
Maybe.
not, like... I don't know, I just don't want to go in the wrong way and then, like, probably die forever and ever.
I think it's like a trapdoor spider that it kind of like digs holes and then it sits and waits for prey. But then this one just kind of sits and goes like, "Oh, look, something's being buried."
I have
feel
an interesting idea. Yeah, if the spider comes and grabs the bodies, right? What happens if we pretend to be the bodies, and then the spider brings us in, and then we're already in there, and then he's or she is used to attacking, saving these bodies and consuming them later. Because if you saw a body in there, maybe it'll bring us in there. You use your knife, you can free yourself, and then you'll be in there for the appetite.
I'm thinking this is a terrible idea.
What if
You always think my ideas are terrible.
Not always.
It'll just eat me right away.
Well, I might do that too. That's possible. I'm willing to risk it.
Well,
What do you guys think that the thing is inside the barn that's alive?
I don't know.
Moving around. Is it prey? Can we free it? Is it a monster? Do we need to run away?
I think it's a spider.
No, it was like a person size, Maddie. It was like a person.
Yeah, but it's
Maybe
the
it's one of the
queen
bodies
spider.
that hasn't eaten yet.
It's like
Yeah.
Shalabi. She was big.
What if it's
She's
Luke? Or Sarah? We gotta go. Back in there and save it.
Hey, Maddie, you still have that webbing?
And I put it in his face again. This webbing? This webbing here?
Yeah.
Yes, I got this webbing here.
So I take it and I say, Marie's right. It could be one of the people that we're looking for. And I start unraveling the webbing and start wrapping it around my arms
Fuck yeah.
and my body. And I say, the web, I think, has a certain smell that if it doesn't smell like me, it smells like the spider stuff, which is all around anyway, so it's not going to be introducing a new scent.
It does, and it's very potent. Yeah, you smell like the barn already.
Ew.
I pass it to Marie, and I start walking over to the barn.
There's enough to
Marie-
cover two of you. There's enough to cover all of you, because I think it's a great idea.
Gross.
Marie starts wrapping her cast with webs.
Nice. So do you all wrap up, or just you and Marie?
I'll
will
wrap up.
do it. I will use my...
Georgie's the
pluck.
idea guy.
You will not. You will just do luck.
No, I'm saying I will use my pluck to be brave enough to do it.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So yeah, you all in the starlit sky, in the gray world of the Grimlands on the dirt road, you begin wrapping yourselves in the webbing that you found.
I
in the
start
tunnels.
pretending I'm a mummy.
And it attaches itself to your skin quite easily. And you know it's a bit sticky, and Maddie, you're sort of playing and slapping, and Georgie, with sort of a bit of pluck, you begin heading towards the barn. Yeah?
I do. And I get to where Marie was standing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I get to where Marie was standing right by the edge of the door, and I turn back to look at her, making sure everyone's in position.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Everyone ready?
Let's do this. And I turn the corner and begin walking towards where Marie said she saw the dude.
The dude. So
Sneakily.
you step in sneakily to the barn. The damp floorboards, a bit of give beneath your feet, and there's no creaking though. The webbing on the floor has completely covered them, almost like a rug. And as you enter the barn, you feel like you're entering the inside of a giant creature's mouth. It's damp almost, a bit
I
humid.
hate that.
And you move silently in, relatively silent. To the right of you, is the massive hole that Marie described. And as you slowly move into the room, I'm assuming each of you, one after the other, you see the cracked boards sort of give way to the dark hole underneath that's been dug into the earth. And you begin making your way across. Where are you looking? Everywhere? Just sort of...
Well, I want to see if there's any movement in that corner still.
I want to look up. I want to make sure that nothing's going to drop down on us.
So, Georgie, you look across at the thing that was moving. But give me both a seek roll. And you know what? I mean, you're all working together, so one of you, Marie can aid one of you, and Maddie can aid the other, so you can each roll 2 die.
Cool.
Good. I rolled a 1 the first time.
I have
Oh, me too.
+2 advantage on
Oh.
seek tests made to notice or find small or hidden things. I guess that's not this.
It could have
Yeah, be
been
hidden.
Actually, that would be very specifically good. But you know what? Right now, because it's just a general one, yeah, maybe not, because you're sort of just getting your surroundings. So, Georgie, you failed. Tam, you succeeded?
I did.
Or sorry, not failed.
Yes, I did.
Georgie, what grade did you succeed at?
Level 2.
Okay. That's
Now,
fine.
did you just ask about the observancy, Joe?
Yeah,
asking
just that I have the hawk-eyed trait.
I have observant trait. So the dreamer can use this ability, for example, to more easily spot a monster lurking in the dark.
Oh,
Or hear a whisper in the midst of a
you know what? Then that's perfect.
Because
Yeah,
there is.
That might be a typical.
you look
If
up.
I was a spider, I'm
Tam,
thinking to myself, if I was a spider,
Tam, you are at the end, and you look up, and sort of sort of offset into the peak of the
No.
barn.
No.
You see the legs sort of stretched out. The massive spider, its abdomen pulsating softly in the dim flickering light, which you have yet to decipher where from. And it sort of slowly just moves, just up and down in almost a rhythmic pattern. You see the sharp, piercing ends of its legs dug into the barn, the ancient carvings of where it's done it 100 times over, where it's sat perched, and it sits with its belly exposed to the 4 of you. As Georgie, you look to the far wall, and you see the movement again. And this time, more in the room, you actually see what is a head, a human head of a man who is encased in webbing, his face gaunt again and thin in the flickering light, and he looks up towards the 4 of you, and he says, in the silence, "It's okay, she's sleeping."
Marie, your knife.
What do you want me to do?
get him out of there.
Pass me your knife.
Okay. Shh.
So the 4 of you move across the floor towards the man, and as you approach him, you see a man in his maybe mid-30s. Again, his face is thin and gaunt and almost pale, and in the very dim light, which you now see is flickering on the 2nd story to the west of the building. It's sort of on a higher level. You see a large sconce sort of illuminating most of the room, and you see him, and he kind of looks up towards you as you approach with the knife, and his eyes sort of gleefully flick to the knife and back to the 4 of you.
Look out. I say to the other guys, watch your step. Don't any of the webs.
Okay. And
No, wait. Is the guy who's wrapped up in webs attached to other webs that are attached to? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
will the spider be able to sense the movement?
Give me now you can use your observancy trait.
Well, that's not me. That's Tam.
I thought you said you had small
I
objects.
have hawk-eyed.
Oh, hawk-eyed. Yeah, that would work. I mean, you're
Okay,
looking
cool.
for literally a spider's web, which is pretty damn delicate.
Ooh. Can I do anything special?
You can do anything special you want.
Okay. I'm gonna. Oh man. So when it says that I have a +2 advantage on seek tests, does that mean I succeed at +2 grades?
No, I think it would mean it adds 2 to your roll. So if you roll like a... But I would still say that would count for 6s, meaning if you rolled a 4, I would let you level up.
Okay, so what if I focus? So leveling up becomes 5 or 6.
Sure.
So if I roll anything higher than a 3, I'm gonna go up a level.
Let's do it. I think that's totally fine.
Okay.
You're looking for very specific things in a very specific... Okay, so no. So you go down 1 grade. You can still roll again because you still can succeed.
All right. That's a level 3.
Okay.
I
Well,
mean,
that's not...
2.
Okay, that's not terrible. So you look at this man against the wall, and your sort of eyes search the outline of him. And as you do, you realize that this man, his legs are sort of short. It looks like he's not standing, like pieces of him might be missing. And he looks at the four of you, and he looks at the knife, and he looks, but he's at regular human height. It just, he looks drained of life. And he turns to you, Georgie, the first one to notice him, and he says, "You're looking for its appetite, aren't you?"
Yes, but we'll help you too, I say, and I kneel down and I take the knife to him.
No, don't. I don't want to be free. And he looks to you, Maddie. You're sort of, I'm assuming you're sort of near the back.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
again,
think that's a fair assumption.
just so you know, the Spitz, she's been at the door of the barn, sort of just hopping around. She did not want to enter. He looks to you, Maddie, and he looks back to you, Georgie, and he looks to the knife, and he says, "I came here looking for the boogeyman's appetite as well. I'll tell you where it is, but I need you to do me a favor. I need you to promise me something.
What?
Kill me." I've been here for as long as I can remember. She wakes, she feeds on me, and waits for me to regain my strength before feeding again. She's eaten pieces of me. And that's when you realize that the bottom half of his body is shorter because pieces of it have been slowly eaten away over time. And as you step back, sort of recoiling at his request, you notice each of the empty sacks house bones, skeletons, that all that left are their sort of rotting faces on their skulls, bits of piles of dust and debris on the floor from where they've been torn open and eaten for years and years.
Why? It's not too late for you. We can help you.
I want to die. Nothing would bring me greater pleasure than to die. Let me die. Promise me I will tell you whatever you need.
Greater pleasure to find the appetite.
And I will tell you where it is if you can promise me that you will use that knife and drive it into my skull and kill me.
We can't promise him that. We can't do that.
I killed someone before. When I was, I don't know how this works, but when I was older than I am now.
So you haven't killed someone before?
No, I have.
No, you might, but you haven't.
I don't know. Marie starts to cry a little bit.
So we're gonna get you out of here. We can't kill you.
Then I won't tell you where it is, he says through gritted teeth.
I'll kill you. It's okay. We just won't tell Tam. Where's the appetite?
And give me a pluck. Sorry, a cool is your charisma, I guess. Well, he wants to know if you're telling the truth. So what the hell would that be? I'd say cool.
All right. I am so not cool.
Yeah.
He says,
Yeah, but what about your character?
Oh, but I got a 6.
Nice. And then
And a 5.
okay, so you succeeded one above your grade, which is
I'm a 2.
you succeeded at a 2. Your grade was a 2,
My grade is a 2.
so you succeeded at a 3.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. Are you telling the truth? Do you intend to kill him?
I'm totally telling the truth.
Okay. Then he looks at you,
Maddie's gonna kill someone?
and he looks at the three of you, and he says, "Okay, I will tell you. The appetite, it's just a piece. It's down there in the pit. It's a piece of a brass object. I came here seeking it. I came here seeking the appetite and the other 2 pieces, and I failed. Don't fail. You must stop him."
Do you know anything about the other 2? Where they are? What they are?
No. But the butchers do.
The butchers.
After you get the appetite, after you leave, after you kill me, there's a path in the graveyard, a secret path to the north. You'll find it. Through there you'll find the butchers, and they'll tell you where the other 2 pieces are. They wouldn't tell me until I had this piece. But don't. And he looks down to the hole. And as you're seeing, I mean, I'm assuming you're looking around. You sort of peek over the edge, and what you see is a pretty deep pit. There are boards sort of strewn across it and chains hanging down from the roof. So it's climbable, but down maybe 20 feet, you see bones, piles of bones and debris. And Marie, give me now your Hawkeye trait.
Okay.
And succeed.
I'm going to try my best.
No. Succeed, please.
Nope.
What? I don't understand why. I don't understand. Why would I say if you no? What's your grade at it?
My seek is a 3.
Okay, but I thought you get +2 to your rolls.
Right. So I rolled a 1.
Yeah, so that's a 3. So that's a success.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah. Right. So I succeeded at grade 3 level.
Perfect. And so you look down and you notice just the slightest glint of a brass object lying within the piles of bones. But you also notice the thick strands of webbing sinking from deep within a pile of bones all the way up to the roof. And there's about 4 of them in various angles, all coming from the pit.
How did you fail? How did she catch you?
By touching those. Don't touch those strands. And again, you can see they're almost like a tripwire lying across. And you can see that from the angle of the open side of the barn, which is very large. The way that the light from outside hits, those lines are very difficult to see. They kind of go over chest height and stomach height and over the single boards. And if you were to come from that angle, you would very likely touch those and trigger. So you guys did very good. Anyway.
Here's what I'm thinking, just metagaming wise. Can we do this?
Do whatever the fuck you want.
I say we burn this whole fucking barn down.
Do it.
You say that. Oh, okay, Marie would probably say that too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I... With him in it?
He wants to die.
Yeah, no, but I'm not okay with that. I don't think
we
Tam
can
can
stab
handle
him
this.
beforehand.
Well, we could, like, is he... I'm wondering, is he wanting to die because he's so badly injured? Right?
Yeah, it seems like that. From what you gather, this man has been fed upon for years almost. The spider has waited for it to replenish, and then it's drained him, and then it's just tortured him essentially for years.
But to a dreamer, anything can be fixed with the power of belief.
Yeah, we'll tell
So
us.
even dire wounds. Even dire wounds.
What
Tell him
happens?
that's what he cares about.
What happens if we lure the spider out of the barn some way?
I'm pretty sure there's an old saying that says, let sleeping
Spiders
lay.
I'm just saying that if we try to steal the appetite, it's gonna know. Unless it's out of the barn. I'm thinking if we split up, someone can steal the appetite. Someone can get the guy out of the barn. I don't know. Spitballing here.
Yeah, but that's why. So my bonus talent is Monkey Bar Master.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a +2 advantage to scamper to do it, but it also says I've learned to fuel your climbing ability with imagination to defy even gravity. Once per scene, by expending imagination, you may climb as though there was no gravity.
Perfect.
Okay.
There's also the thing about Tam is pretty good with spiders. In the past, she's had some good relationships with spiders, so maybe it won't, it'll work out if we actually have to talk to her. Yeah.
You could definitely try.
That sounds bad.
Yeah.
It sounds fun.
Sounds like a fucking blast.
I don't want Tam to die.
Well, Okay. So I don't think. Okay, let's get back into the game.
Okay.
You can metagame all you want. I don't give a shit. I think they're all great ideas.
Maddie, I think I've seen you do stuff like this before. I think you can get that.
I could totally get that.
Would you escape out the tunnel? Do you think we could get through the graveyard into the bottom of this pit?
So
Maybe
let's
we
take a
should
look.
explore that tunnel first.
Does it look like tunnels go off into the graveyard?
So it's very dark down there. So I would need another Hawkeye, or not Hawkeye, just a regular Seek roll. But I mean, logic, based on the way the tunnel was heading, you could probably guess, unless it's caved in, that there's a good chance that that the tunnel would lead to this pit.
If it was caved in, unless the webs were very, very old in the graveyard, there wouldn't be any webs there, right? So we can presume logically that...
Unless a little bit of like a 4-H roll on the age of the webs that you're all currently surrounded in helps you out.
Yeah.
Georgie?
What's 4-H again?
Georgie?
It's like outside shit.
It's
like
basically like
trees.
farm. No, it's a 4-H is a lot of farming.
Farm wisdom!
Yeah.
Farm wisdom!
And I'm gonna say that's
I also think it's farm wisdom. Farm ignorance.
farm ignorance.
It's about like, when's it gonna
Ignorant
rain?
farmers and Grimm.
Yeah, ignorant farmers. There's always the ignorant farmers.
Farmers are clever.
It's an literally old running. You gotta
It was
catch up
from the
on.
very first
Aisha, you
human
need to
era.
do a
I don't
video.
watch any of these videos.
You need to watch. Aisha, you need to do like a supercut of all the ignorant farmers. Like in the first game we ever played. In the first game we ever played, Chris, I don't know who, but someone was like, "Oh, and you walked."
I'm gonna say Chris.
I think it was Chris as a GM, and he was like, "Oh, you walked by a bunch of like ignorant farmers," and we're like, "Ignorant farmers? Like, oh, I'm an ignorant farmer." And like literally every campaign has had an ignorant farmer reference.
Not feng shui.
Yet.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Wait till we
It's
get to the
brewing.
rice patties.
There are meetings going on.
Literally in the rice paddy, there will be.
That's not how you
farmers.
plan rice.
Ignorant farmer. Perfect. I like it. Let's do it.
All right.
Ignorant farmer campaign.
We're all farmers.
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's like a Stardew Valley campaign. We're like
Roll for-
arguing about turnips the whole time.
Roll for ignorance. No, that's like charts and shit. That's too clever. Has to be way. I'm thinking
Farm
more like.
wisdom.
Yeah, there you go. Farm wisdom.
Did I plant potatoes or corn? I can't remember.
That's the name
Put
of
the
the
potatoes in the tree.
Farm wisdom.
All right, let's do this. What's next,
Sorry.
cats?
Woof.
All right.
Fuck, what were we talking about?
I think
Whether or not,
rice patties.
whether or not we can tell if the spider webs will do
Right.
something or other.
Georgie, make that 4-H roll, buddy.
Oh yeah,
I don't know a whole lot about farming.
I
but
thought you had 4-H. Good.
I have a little bit of 4-H, but I only
That's
passed my grade 3 farming test.
The farming test?
First time someone's been ignorant about farming.
That's it.
It's weird. Oh, so who's got it better? Oh no, you have a 3. That's the best. And you
That's
roll
the
2d6
best.
on it.
Success at grade 3.
You also roll 2d6 on it.
Oh, do I? Because
Yeah.
I'm smart.
Remember? Yeah. Any of your
What's the
study
study?
traits, you roll 2d6 on.
All right,
I think
so
that was
success at a
great.
grade 3.
So I probably should have done it. It's too late now.
Yeah, you guys, you know. At a grade 3,
Yeah.
you can tell that these spider webs are very old from that tunnel.
Oh, okay. I don't know, Marie. They looked pretty old. It might be collapsed somewhere in between, and I wouldn't want to get trapped. Okay, contingency plan time. Maddie, why don't you try to go in?
Word.
It's my favorite today.
He
Maddie,
does have
you,
a
go,
grade 9 in book learning.
you do the monkey bar thing, okay?
Yeah.
And if you're able to get back up, then get back up. But if you can't, then try to take the tunnel, and that's the best we can do, and then we'll just run our butts off.
What about this guy?
Oh, he's already dead. Maddie killed him 3 scenes ago.
No, you didn't.
No, he's still there, like.
He's still dead. Kill me.
Damn kids.
He's not that frail. He's just sad and.
Okay,
You
like
said
if he's
gone,
missing
like, 4
parts, he's got to be pretty light. I think I could carry him.
He'd be very upset if you tried.
So here's the thing with that. So, thinking the reason what's going on here is Maddie is thinking about his life as the older human and what how unhappy he was with life, and part of it was at being a failed cop, and then what Tam also said about Marie. Maybe in the future it will be a choice to take a life, and I don't want that to have to be Marie's choice. So I am going to kill the guy so that Marie doesn't have to, and that in the future she can make different choices.
Okay.
Because I don't want, because again, as a cop and as a failed cop, I know what it's like to take a life and to live with that burden, and I'm not going to put that on anyone else.
I mean, Marie was a cop too.
Yeah.
Cop to cop.
Right. But I still want to give someone else a chance to make a different choice.
Interesting. So, right now we're thinking that we're going to kill a guy.
No, I'm already going to kill him.
No, you're not.
Totally doing it.
Not it.
No, you're
I
not.
have anything to say.
There's going to be a fight, which is going to wake up the spider, which is going to kill all of us.
No.
Well, we got to play it out if that's what Matt wants to do.
We had a deal. But I didn't, rationalize that out loud with them. That was just Maddie's thinking.
No, for sure. They wouldn't know this, yeah. For all they know, they might think that you're just bluffing, and you can always just let them leave.
Right,
and
but
then
so we're
stick around.
whispering in the...
I would assume that because he's a good person usually.
I think the merciful thing would be to kill this gentleman.
I've got to believe I can save him.
Just ask him if he wants to die so badly.
George is on the fence.
Just talk to him and he'll tell you.
So as we're discussing it, Maddie will kill him.
Oh no! I want to kneel down in front of the guy, and I see Maddie kind of going around the back, and I say, "Okay, we're gonna get the appetite. You spent a lot of time trying to get it. Do you want to see what it looks like when we come back up?"
Do you send this to the man?
Yeah.
Sorry. He looks at you and says, "No, I want to die."
And I turn back and I hear the hopelessness in his voice, and I look at Tam and I give her a sympathetic shrug, and I turn back to the man and I say, "Okay, what's your name?"
Teddy Kane.
All right, Teddy. Well, thanks for the information. And I nod to Maddie and I turn around.
I mean, it's a Swiss Army knife. Georgie, you were holding it, so you give Maddie the knife,
yeah,
I would presume.
Give Maddie the knife.
You have
what
to
are you guys
give...
doing? You can't kill him.
It's not a very sharp knife, guys. We're just kids.
He
I'm
sees you
definitely not
approaching.
going through the skull, like he said, because the knife will never get through the skull.
Yeah, he just says, you should get the appetite first. It's possible that my blood might wake her. You don't want to be here when she does.
Yes. Put the knife back in my pocket.
He wants to die, but he wants it to be the
her hand
final.
out for the knife. Can I keep... I just want to... I don't
I
like...
sit down beside
can-
the man,
Okay.
and I actually get close enough to the man to look him in the eye. And I say, "Get the thing."
And so now the plan is, the plan is that you guys are going to use your gravity-defying monkey bars experience to describe it to me.
So basically, what I can do is basically like, monkey, like literally like swing like a monkey or climb. It actually says I can even climb walls like a spider, slick surfaces with no handholds, etc.
Perfect.
So I'm thinking like spider monkey. That's what I'm thinking. All the way down in between the webs and grab the appetite and work my way back up.
Okay, so let's give it a roll. It's going to be tough. Now, remember, there's a
What
lot
are
of
we
possible
doing?
failures, so...
During this
Yeah.
time. We have to, like, get the fuck out, right?
Well, I
We don't
know.
wanna
You
be
tell me
around.
what you guys want to do.
What are we going to do when when Maddie gets the appetite, she's gonna wake up.
Okay. I think your idea about splitting up is a good idea. It's our best chance. I'll wait over by the front door. You wait over by the hole, the back ripped open one. And Tam, you're going to be helping Maddie, right?
I was gonna stay with him.
Okay. So if the spider wakes up, the spider has 5 different options. It could go after me, it could go after Marie, it could go after you guys, it could go after the Teddy, or it could just go back to sleep, which I'm hoping.
It's for sure not gonna go after me. Because of my archetype.
Are you a fast runner?
No, I'm an outcast. So, I'm forgettable.
But delicious.
That's right.
Actually, without a doubt, it's going to go after Maddie because of Maddie's archetype. Where is it there? Thing about one of the flaws is a normal kid who embraces his own generic nature is for some reason especially tasty to the monsters and village of the group.
No.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Wow.
He is the person in the story that the bad stuff happens to. The red shirt, the nameless extra, the hero's expendable best friend.
Oh my god. And so why are you the person who's going into the hole?
When presented with several equally tasty targets at any point, the creature will always take the...
Oh, don't worry. She'll come for you.
Yeah.
Marie's like, here's my plan. Maddie, you gotta go down there with your monkey bar skills and get that appetite. Then you have to go through one of the tunnels to try to escape. I think that we need to find more tunnels maybe to be able to let you out. Do you think we should dig out more graves?
But there's no time, Marie. It's asleep right now.
Okay. Also, I think we should probably just burn this barn to the fucking ground.
Oh, you swore.
I'm sorry. I forget I'm like a 43-year-old woman sometimes.
-2 to your childhood.
God, I want to smoke. Oh, I hate cigarettes. What is wrong with me?
I'm going to tell you right now, as much as not for logistical reasons I have any problem with the fire, because I think it'd be fucking hilarious. The webs are damp and the floor is damp, and unless you had like a massive accelerant, like gasoline fucking everywhere.
Like Tam's imagination?
Yeah.
Massive accelerant.
Yeah, I guess you could.
Yeah, I'm not gonna imagine killing this guy, guys. You're not gonna convince Tam. Unfortunately, it's just a character flaw she has. Is to not kill people.
Flaw. That's a flaw you have.
That's funny.
Oh, no. And if you set Teddy Kane on fire, he's gonna scream out, "Not again."
We're at an impasse here.
I thought you solved this. Why are we still doing this? I thought you were going down to do the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you're going to come up and kill the guy, and then you're leaving.
Yeah, but the spider's gonna wake up and chase Maddie and kill him.
Well,
You
roll,
don't know that.
roll better.
Come on.
Don't do it. Don't fail.
Okay, whatever. Let's just do it.
All right, so I roll 1, and then I roll 2 because...
Maddie, are you
Tam's gonna help
going
me?
in the hole? Sorry, Tam, are you going in the hole with Maddie?
No.
No,
No.
I'm not. I'm gonna stay with this guy. If this is gonna be the last like couple moments, I want to make sure that, I don't know. I want to be with him.
You got a friend in me. All right.
Okay, so is that right? I roll 2?
I don't know.
Everyone?
I don't have your character sheet. I do have your character sheet.
No, I just meant because I'm going to have Tam aid me with imagination.
Yes.
So I roll 2.
So you're going to roll
successes.
2d6, and
Yeah.
you're going to use your monkey bar power.
Yeah.
Which
so
is
I got a +2 to my scamper, so that'll put me at a grade 5.
perfect. Well, it'll put the roll up.
Right.
So,
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. So roll 2d6, and let's take this step by step.
Okay. So I got a 5 and a 3.
Okay. Now, sorry. Did you say you were focusing? I thought I heard you were focusing. Maybe not.
Of course, I'm focusing.
All right. So that 5 will be up 1 grade, so you can roll that 5 again.
I can roll it again.
Yeah, because 5 or 6 will level
right,
up
yeah,
when you
yeah.
focused. You guys spent enough time talking. I figure you would have focused probably. I think it just takes 15
Okay.
minutes to focus.
So a 1.
So you succeed at 1 grade above what you were trying to do. So you were trying to do a scamper, correct?
Right.
So you've succeeded at a grade 4.
Grade 4.
Now, Because of the circumstances of your power, because you can basically scamper these things like they were gravity free, which is my understanding, correct?
Yeah.
Obviously, the difficulty is going to be a bit different. So it was a very good use, because this is a very difficult hit, and lowering it 2 grades means that you've just succeeded. So you're going to be able to climb down, avoiding the webs relatively easily, and arrive next to the piece. Describe how that happens, and I want you all to be in this scene so we can kind of figure out what the heck just went down and where you all are at. So break it down for us.
Break down.
Okay, so I'm looking at the pit, and you said there were all sorts of boards and stuff, as well as spider webs that kind of lean in and go in. Is that correct?
Correct.
Like the floorboards and stuff?
Yep.
Okay, so I kind of take a deep breath as I look at on the edge, and I look for the first board that I'm actually going to jump to.
Okay.
And I realize with the spider webs there, I'm going to have to do it like in a tuck position, because I got to jump and miss the first couple spider webs to grab the board. And as I do, I jump and my fingers slip, grabbing the first board, but I'm able to turn and roll and catch the next board, putting my feet on one more. Like,
Perfect.
and then I kind of look at some of the dirt along the wall and kind of use that to kind of rock climb down and get onto the level with the appetite.
Fantastic.
All of a sudden I'm thinking like Indiana Jones with that metal. So I grab a little piece of dirt in my hand, kind of weighing this, trying to figure out the weight of the appetite.
And you do it perfectly, and you all watch on with a bit of with being impressed. Maddie seems like a different person almost. You're in your element to a certain extent, and you're starting to sort of get your own in this world, or find your own, I should say. And you're standing next to it, and within the bones and the skulls at the bottom, you sort of your feet are touching them very softly. The sort of clatter of them beneath your feet in the dampness of this hole. You see it, and it's a small brass piece about yay long and ye thick, and you don't quite understand what it is just yet, but you can see it sitting there.
Indiana Jones it with like a
that's
rock.
what I'm saying. I'm looking for a little rock just in case.
And you find the perfect size rock. It's about yay long and ye thick.
And so I very quickly, I actually take off, or that little piece of scrap that Tam gave us for the breathing, since we didn't go through the tunnel.
I would have insta-killed you.
I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use this to grab it rather than my actual hand, just in case. And kind of take my satchel and kind of open it up so I can quickly scoop it and put down the other little rock that's yay big and ye thin.
So you don't touch it with your skin?
I do not, no.
Okay, so you scoop it up and you put it in your satchel.
Yep. And then I just take a moment to be like, fucking rock. All right.
And
so while Maddie's in the hole, I'm looking around. I can barely see the silhouette of Marie at the back end of the barn. I look up and keep my eyes peeled on the spider to see if it moves at all.
Marie's got the aerosol can and her lighter set up, like ready to make a flamethrower if this spider wants to play.
And just for Marie's humility, these can is about the size of one of the spider's eyes, so
yeah,
it'd
totally.
be like
A little flame in the eye would still kill.
Not that it wouldn't hurt.
But he's got 7 on there.
I'm just
so
saying.
next thing on
I'm just saying the vinegar she came in
Extra
with.
Life, one of the challenges we'll do is we'll hold a Zippo to Harlan's eyeball and just see. That's
How you feel like it.
No. The can is the size of my eyeball. So if you had a little bit of a can about this big and you went,
okay.
then yeah, we'll do that.
Well, it's probably still better than a what is it, Carolina Reaper?
The
That's
fuck.
right, yeah.
the tongue of flame that comes out of something like that is still like 3 or 4 feet. Though.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying
not
it's better
discrediting
than a fucking pen knife or
Well,
whatever.
I'm just saying it would make it probably just angry. But anyway, I'm only saying that because Marie wasn't aware of the size of the thing before. So now she realizes, and she's like, "Oh, okay."
You said it's got its like whole
Yeah.
legs splayed out over the whole barn. This is like a
Probably
barn-sized
one of
If it was a
the
spider.
male
Better than the
spider,
Blue
you'd be
Angel.
like, "This is quite attractive." It's a very
A male spider.
If you were a male spider, you would find the position very attractive.
Sorry.
It's a very inviting position that the female spider is in. Hey, to each their own. So you are looking, Georgie. What was going on?
I'm looking at the spider to see if if this intense situation is building somehow.
Right. Yeah. Roll me a seek. That's what I was going to say.
Now I realize I have Hawkeye as well.
Oh, look at this! Everyone's an Avenger.
The worst Avenger.
Hey. Yeah.
So do I get a +2 on this?
Yes, you do.
All right. So I succeed at a grade 3.
Okay. So you eye the spider in the dark.
Grade 4 rather. Sorry.
Okay, and you you still see it breathing, it moving as you did when you first entered, but it doesn't seem to be moving beyond that. But for the first time, you are sort of glancing around from a new perspective. Now that you're sort of closer to the hole, you have a bit of a vantage point on the second level, which is sort of to the back of the barn. And from that area where there's a dim light illuminating, you do see all the heads of all the egg sacs that are lined on the second level. There must be 30 of them, just the tips of these eggs. All fill the top level. And
I like the look of those.
Matty, you are now you have the piece in your satchel. Are you crawling out through the tunnel?
No, because that was the contingency plan.
Yep, the
Otherwise,
contingency.
Otherwise, I was going to try to climb up again.
Perfect. Okay, so you can try the climb up again if you like. It'll be another scamper roll. And I will let you do the same thing if you would like to have Tam's imagination helping you.
I'm not helping him.
Or whatever that was. Okay. So,
Whoa.
did you focus again?
Yeah, because I was totally like, especially because I slipped last time.
Yeah. Okay. You make it up pretty well.
All right.
And yeah, the four of you are now standing on the floor of the barn. The man next to you greedily eyeing the blade in your hand, waiting for his death. And he turns to the four of you and says, "You have it. End me. And remember, this creature, the boogeyman, he must be stopped. You must stop him."
Maria, I need your mirror.
So I start to take out the knife from my pocket.
The
And...
knife. I have the knife.
No, you don't. What? How'd you get the
never
knife?
gave it back to me.
Marie, I
I
need your
totally
mirror.
did.
Yeah, it's totally my mirror. She gives it to Tam.
Okay, Tam, you have the mirror.
You keep looking at yourself like you're a failure. It's because of you we're going to be able to do this. When I look at you, I don't see a failure. I see a hero. And I open the mirror and I show it to him. And I imagine him in kind of like a knight's armor looking back in the mirror.
Okay.
You have much to offer. There's no sense you leaving this world yet.
How would Teddy Kane feel about that, Chris? Just role play.
How
both
would Teddy
sides.
Kane?
just go back and
I was in such a bad place when I played Teddy Kane.
Here's a man who was burned alive at the stake and entered the Grimlands through a mysterious means, and for the past unknown time, because time stands still here, he's been fed on by a creature every morning, which has no light. He fears the time when the spider will come down and dig her teeth into him, and all he has prayed for as long as he can remember is for it to stop, for there
And
to be
then
nothing
he
left.
met Tam.
And then he met Tam, and she's
Oh my
like,
god!
"You're gonna be a knight." Yeah.
All right.
to a theater near
So
you.
he looks okay. Teddy would look in the mirror see himself and says, "I see it too, Tam. Thank you. But it is, it's okay. I need to leave now."
I agree.
And
I'm only saying because you were Teddy, and I don't want to step on you.
right, but Tam needs to try.
Hey,
And that's all I'm saying. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
But maybe even to just add a little twist, maybe Teddy looks in the mirror and looks back at Tam, and he says, "Thank you." And as his own imagination has viewed an image that he's wanted to see 1,000 times, his own demise reflects back at him. You each see the opening of his throat as his own imagination drags a blade across his own throat and allows him to finally end his life the way
That's
he
awesome.
wanted to.
That's great. Tam's going to close the mirror really quick and go, oh no, and run out of the barn.
As you should. The blood, which is almost, there's so little of it, begins leaking down and wetting the web on his chest and stomach as the light fades from his eyes. So stand there.
Hold on.
Well, Georgie's at the
Wasn't there something
door.
in the bones too?
Perfect.
Wasn't there something there, or was that just the one thing we needed? Just
That's all you saw, really.
okay. I ran out upset.
Okay. And the four of you exit the barn, leaving the Spider Queen to stir lightly in her slumber. And we're going to stop there for the mid-game post. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Is the time. Okay, it's the time of the season for the mid-game post. Welcome. This is Grimm Chapter 8, The Three Butchers. My name, as always, is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and I am here with my fantastic friends, Ms. Joe Fallick, Mr. Justin Thomas James, Mr. Michael Barber, Mr. Chris Visseau. Welcome, you might have noticed that the the MVP this week was Mr. David Johns. Hats off to him. He has been working tirelessly and scrupulously on a sort of conversion for the Arkham Horror card game using the first Call of Cthulhu game, and it is amazing. It is fantastic. It is so cool, and I have that game, and I'm excited for when it's done. My only regret is that I didn't include enough of myself as an original character, because I really want to play myself, but maybe we can work on something, David. So anyway, congrats on the MVP, because I thought that was such a really cool and unique way.
You want to play with yourself?
Often. Literally. So well done, David. Also, I want to reward a little bit of experience points to my good friend, Mr. Michael Weber, for working on a variant of the map that I've done up for GRIMM, the GRIMM lands, which you guys are going to see later on this game. And you saw a little bit already, but you'll see the full thing in a little bit. So thank you, Michael. You get XP as well. Now, I guess I should mention that there's a mid-game question, because I forgot. The mid-game question is, of course, one that we just came up with. So you'll remember the beginning of this game was they asked what some of the names of the tombstones were. And I think the question should be, what was the name on the first tombstone that they saw? It was a very specific name, and it was a name that's come up previously. I'm going to let you figure out why and how. So the mid-game question is, of course, name the first tombstone. Again, depending on the number of answers, we'll roll a that-sided die, and whoever wins will get the mid-game XP. Good luck. Happy hunting. I want to mention that this Friday night is a spooky stream. What's a spooky sound? Drama?
That's spooky.
That's pretty spooky.
Yeah. That's a better spooky sound.
I just watched Beetlejuice, and that reminds me of that scene where she's like, get a room, guys. Watch Beetlejuice, by the way. This Friday night, we are playing my favorite horror game of all time, Layers of Fear. It is really exciting, and I'm excited to play it, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you guys come and hang out and just chill. It's going to be a really relaxing night. I could use a relaxing night. So let's order some pizza and get comfy, and maybe I'll pull my couch up and I'll just lay back and play it on the Xbox controller.
Everyone on the couch.
Everyone on the couch, pile on. We'll get a big blanket underneath it and the pizza on our laps. But Layers of Fear, it's a game where you play a painter who's gone mad, and it's one of the best games I've ever played. And if you haven't played it before, I'm really excited to play it for you again. And if you haven't played it, then whatever, we'll have a laugh and we'll get deep into some weird late night conversation stuff.
That's
what I always
good. Painter going crazy?
It's
I know
so
a couple of crazy painters.
good. Also, we are doing Extra Life Month. That's right. This month is dedicated to Extra Life. There's a link in the description of this video. We are raising money for charity, guys, to Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals, and we are nearing the end of our little run. It has been such a whirlwind. We are currently at $3,661 for the Invictus Stream team. The Stream team. It's like the dream team. That comprises us, David Ionati, and Tim Tabor. And together we have raised that much money, and it is fantastic. We have been so lucky. I want to say blessed, but I hate saying that. But we've been so lucky with the amount of support that you guys have given us, with the amount of donations. But not just that. Those who couldn't or have already donated have also donated other things. We have Dave and Ionati who have donated the books for you guys to also have as an incentive. The 3 books that he has. Check out the Facebook group if you want to win those. We have the Lyles who donated a copy of The Shallows Last Spooky Stream, which John and... Was it John? Yeah, John and Rin Regan won. And we also had Dustin Wright, who donated a Keeper's Handbook, a PDF version, for Call of Cthulhu Last Game. All of these people have already donated, and they're also giving stuff. It is so freaking amazing. I also have a huge shout out again to John for sending me this. The One Chip Challenge, the Carolina Reaper coffin, which has the spiciest chip in the world in it. I kind of love it, but I hate it. I'm really nervous. I'm not
Have
nervous.
you opened it up and like looked at it?
No, you can't open it. It goes stale.
I don't know. It's like going to be spicy as hell. Is it actually going to be tasty?
Yeah, probably not. It says, keep out of reach of children after touching. Do not touch your penis or hands. It says penis.
Don't do that.
It doesn't say penis.
I would love to say just a couple of quick words about the Extra Life Challenge. This is something that is really near and dear to my heart. As someone who has worked in a children's hospital, it's really, really important that we give them as much funding as we possibly can. Parents who are dealing with sick kids and hospitals that are trying to support sick children need a lot of funding. It's a very expensive enterprise, and the Extra Life fundraiser raised $9,600,000 last year. It's been going up since they were founded in 2008. I'm really, really proud that we get to be part of that this year through the Invictus Stream. We're doing our part. It's small, but it is so amazing that everyone is just giving. If you have $1, if you have $100,000 to give, it's like super, super touching. And I'm so proud to be part of the stream that is making this possible.
Absolutely. It is super humbling and crazy how generous you guys are. So, and Joe hit it right on the head. So thank you guys so much. I know I overused the clap, but I think it's deserved. It's deserved. What can I say? Well said, Joe. It is something that's really, really important. Finally, I do want to do one last shout out and a thank you to Alexander Lepira. I think that's how you say your last name. He works for a company called Raven. Hold on.
Oh, come on, Harlan.
Hey, give me a break. Raven Desk Games, and they have this. They've sent us this tabletop role playing game from the book series, I guess. Vert, and the first adventure too. What it's called, They Keep to the Borderlands. This was awesome, and a super huge shout out to Alexander for sending it, because such a cool guy. He literally messaged me and was like, "Hey, you want a copy of this?" I was like, "Sure." Like, yeah, emails the PDF. He's like, "No, I'll send you a real version." I was like, "You don't have to. Like, don't worry about it." He's like, "No, I'll send you. What's your address?" I was like, "Okay." And then it like came like a week later. He was like really, really cool about it. So I guess he must be a fan. I hope. I don't know why I said that. But I think we're gonna have to play this, and it's too thick for me. I only read like those choose your own adventures, because then you have to, you know.
I'd love to look into it.
Yeah, well, there you go. Justin said it. He said it. No take backs. So it's actually Justin, and it's also based on a series of novels. So you should read those first if you want to get
really?
background. Yeah, Joe, have you read
do they
those?
need a New York narrator?
I have not read them, but I read a synopsis when you posted about it, because I actually haven't heard. I've never played the Numenera system, whatever the fuck
Cipher
it is.
system.
The Cipher system.
Cipher
come
system.
on, Joe.
Thank you. Excuse me.
That's what you said to me when I didn't know the name. I just saw Cipher System in this front. That's why.
I've been part of this endeavor for a much shorter amount of time than all y'all.
The Cipher System is a very good system. Actually, we've had a lot of fun with it, and we're going to be using it a lot in the future. So this is probably going to be a perfect avenue for us. So again, thank you, Alexander. Thank you for Raven Desk Games for sending us this. This was awesome. I always feel weird about, like, I always tend to short form, but I go by people's, like, Facebook names. Like, his name on Facebook is Alexander, so I call him Alexander, but my impulse is, I literally wrote, thanks, Alex, and then I, like, erased it, and I was self-conscious. I was like, no, better go Alexander. Because you never know. Sometimes people are very specific about that. Sometimes their name is Alex and they go by Sai. Sometimes...
That's true, yeah.
Sometimes people don't like the long form version of their names.
Which is also fair, too. Which, see, it's the equal respect. Sometimes people don't like the long version and they choose to go short, so I go with the short, and vice versa. So, Alexander, if that's how you prefer to be called, thank you again. You're a fantastic individual, just in general. So, congrats on being a fantastic individual.
You guys can call me Batman from now on.
You are Batman.
I've always wanted to call you Batman.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Dropped off socks. She bought me socks. So shout out to my mom for buying me these.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
round of applause. For
Good job, Mrs. Guthrie.
I hope you're watching right now, because this is your moment.
She said she didn't know if they'd fit. I don't know. So we'll find that out tomorrow morning.
Yeah, let's check it out. Can we do an unboxing?
I'll do an
They don't fit.
unboxing.
Can I have them?
I'll do an unboxing
Doing
video.
unboxers? What?
I'm gonna do an unboxing video and a try-on video, so you guys can see, like.
I did an unboxing video for Baldur's Gate, and it's so awkward because it's like me on the carpet, like looking up at the camera.
Well, you also took a video when you meant to take a picture or something, vice versa.
Whatever, it's fine.
No,
That'd be a
look
funny
I'm new.
series, like unboxing like really mundane things, like
I would do
a
that.
coffee mug.
Socks.
Unboxing
It's
my groceries.
If you guys
it's
want
a
to
coffee
see,
mug.
if you guys want to see an unboxing video of me trying these on and unboxing, then you just let me know and I will do one.
I'm telling you right now. Let's see it.
Overwhelming.
It's the community.
Ebony
You're not actually going to watch it. The people who are actually going to watch it. I will do, and I will stretch
Quality
it.
would be
Here's what we'll
outstanding.
do. Someone start a poll if they want it, and then the number of likes, if there's enough, I'll do it. But the poll will be the length. If it's like a 20-minute unboxing video,
I'm writing the post right now.
If it's like a 2-minute, but like I want to challenge myself. You say like 30 seconds, I'm gonna make a 30-second unboxing video of these. If you say 20 minutes, I'm gonna stretch out a fucking 20-minute video.
Yeah, that's 20 minutes. Like you talk about the fiber, you talk about the
I'm gonna
toe
do it
comfort.
all. It won't be well
mouth
edited.
feel.
but
Such elasticity.
It's got a good mouth feel.
Check this out. Listen to this. Listen to this. 10% polyester, obvious. 89% cotton, 1% spandex.
Human flesh.
1%.
Spoilers.
That's really
Unboxing
exciting.
It's
video.
just the yarn. It's like the thread they use. Maybe it's
That's
so
really
together.
neat. 1%.
I just created a poll. Who wants to see an unboxing video of how I'm trying on some socks?
Yeah, well,
Did you
So
give them like
doesn't-
options for time length? Because I want to vote for the 20 minutes.
I
20
mean,
minutes,
y'all
I
can
mean.
add your option.
I'll do it. You guys do whatever.
Hey, we got 24 hours of online.
Oh my god,
Come on.
that's gonna be amazing. November 4th.
No, this is gonna be
You definitely
separate.
gotta tune in.
No, that's all we're doing now.
I'm doing my
24
own.
hours, that's
Listen,
the challenge.
I'm gonna do
This unboxing
a
of socks.
separate video because I want to send it to my mom because
A
she's
24-hour.
Put it in the poll.
Trying on
Put it in the
video.
poll.
24-hour option. Just put it in socks. All right, so I'm gonna put on a little bit here. I gotta pull it off a little bit more. Put it back
Poor
on.
Harlan. He's
Take it
gonna be exhausted.
I'll do it. I'll do it for you guys. I don't care. There's
Jesus
very
Christ.
little I wouldn't do for this community.
Yeah.
Give my soul.
Everyone will wonder why he just walks around
Oh
barefoot
god.
after that.
What are we even doing right now?
David Johns, we try shit on. That's right.
Hey, that's pretty good. Hey, look at that. There's the new series. We make shit. We'd make shit up, and the new series we try shit, and it will just be like trying shit, like putting socks on for 20 fucking minutes. I got a bunch of mundane shit that we can try. I got every time David. Everyone knows David. Every time David comes over, he leaves an article of clothing. So I'm thinking like try on David's article of clothing. so like it's funny
What's
too.
it like to be David?
Because one time he left a jacket, and David's such a small guy compared
I was
to
gonna
me.
say you do not have a diverse number of body shapes. Like y'all are pretty big dudes.
Dave's not
overall.
though. He's little.
I know,
And
but
I said-
y'all gonna try on his shit.
Well,
and
he
it's
kept
just gonna
forgetting
get
his shirt
sweatshirt.
here, and I kept being like, David. So I like put it on, and I was like, and I took a picture. I was
Get
like,
back,
David, come
David.
take your shirt. And he was like, I don't want it anymore.
Lauren says it can be a scene for the calendar. All of their legs in their socks.
Oh, that'd be pretty good too.
Yeah.
We did something like that. I'm down. You know what? You guys just whatever. We'll do it.
Funny shit.
But I'm like unsocked.
Ooh.
Ew.
Ew.
I got some nice.
Let's not talk about that.
Ooh.
So barbaric.
You guys don't have feet? I have
Gross.
No,
That flex.
I have dainty feet. They're cute.
Conceal that fact from the world.
All right.
I've touched Justin's feet.
I'm pretty sure that you all have feet.
Mid-game post.
I think I've seen it.
Oh, right. Who won the mid-game post?
There's not a lot of correct answers.
Wow. Okay, so we got Conrad Stancic. That's correct. Mark Lane. No. He's not dead, Victoria. And you should know that. Matt McHale, no.
Weber?
Conrad Stanzik, yeah. Rin got it. Conway Twitty, no. Conrad Stenson, close, Dustin, but no cigar. Ernest Savini, it was close. I think it was.
No, she got it earlier though. So it's
And Conrad.
between
And Conrad.
Michael, Rin,
Kellen and Mike.
Kellen, and Mike. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael, Rin, Kellen, and Mike. So we'll do a 1d4. If my math is correct, 4 people adds up to 4. And it's number 2, which means
Rin, right?
Reagan! You get 1 XP for knowing correctly. Now, for those who don't know, Conrad Stancic was a person in the first Call of Cthulhu adventure. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's pretty cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enough of that. Let's get back to Grimm. The 4 of you are standing outside the barn as you begin stripping the webbing from your skin, I assume. It's up to you. And Maddie sort of slings open his satchel and reveals to you a very lightly wrapped piece of brass.
As I reach in the satchel and grab it, I do pause for a moment because, again, my whole reason for wanting to kill the guy was to not have anyone else feel that burden. And now I know that Tam is going to be feeling that burden. And I feel responsible for Tam's burden now of not acting quickly enough. But I reach in and I, still eyes down, wrapped in the cloth of Tam's dress, hold it out for the other guys to grab or take or whatever. Here it is.
And I reach for it and hold it up and...
Do you touch it with your skin?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Everything stops.
Oof.
And Georgie, you see a man standing at a window. You see a scene. You're not present. It's almost like a movie. And you see a man standing at a window. He's maybe 25 years old. The window's old. The thick glass reminds you of the field trip that you took to one of the pioneer villages. He's holding a large spider in the palm of his hand. And he's watching it with a cold gaze, almost lifeless. Something about him seems off, makes you feel uncomfortable immediately. And as he's standing at the window, his eyes dart outward, and you can see he's watching young girls skipping stones, very young, maybe 5 or 6. And they're wearing uniforms, school uniforms. And there are other kids, and his eyes are sort of darting between them. And you see his face, and he looks at them, and he smiles. A sinister, hungry smile. And from behind him, you hear a woman's voice, an older woman. And she says, "Daniel?" He puts the large spider back on the windowsill, and he leaves as the children across the road enter the schoolyard. And you snap back, and you're standing with the 3 of them. No time has passed for you. The 3 of you saw Justin touch this, and then reel back.
Oh. Did you guys see that? Tam? Matt? Marie, did you see that?
See what?
I was like taken to a town, and there was a man looking at girls. It was weird. I don't know.
Here?
I don't know. I think it happened in my mind. If you didn't see it. And I try to distract myself and focus on the object.
Marie puts her hand up against Georgie's forehead. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. What is this thing? What is from some sort of brass item?
What does it look like?
You can give me like a study roll or something.
Sure, I will study the heck out of it.
It's not hard to decipher what it is, but it's just something you don't immediately recognize.
Okay, I succeeded at a grade 8.
So yeah, you know what the fuck it is. It looks to be the I don't know the exact name for it. Not the pin, but the actual locking mechanism, I suppose, of a door. If you install a door, you have sort of the middle. Yeah, I guess, well, not the bolt, because the bolt's
latch.
the lock. I guess maybe the latch. Should probably figure it out. But it's the part that slides in the center, where the two knobs would be on either side of it.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen these. Yeah, this is.
But it's very old. It looks like it's again from the 1800s.
Like the 1800s.
Yeah.
Why is it called an appetite?
Oh. And my face darkens as I think back to the memory there. I don't know. Here. And I pass it over to Marie.
Marie takes it in her hands.
And the vision that it granted was only once. So
she holds it, feels its weight. I don't understand. What is this thing?
I think it's some sort of symbol or totem. I think I saw this vision of the man that I was talking about. He had a hunger, so to speak, I think. And maybe this is representative of that, like a totem.
And what you say rings true, Georgie. The item itself seems irrelevant, rather that the vision or the memory that's been drawn into it seems like what was endowed, or what was sort of meant to be the part.
If I'm thinking correctly, I think the man that I saw in the vision, I think he's the boogeyman.
What was he doing?
And I look at Marie and Tam, and I swallow and I say, I'll tell you later. But his name was Daniel.
Okay. Well, Spitz told us that, no, it was the man. The man who,
And Spitz actually flutters up and lands on your shoulder, Tam. And she kind of says, the spider wasn't awake. You guys are lucky.
Yeah, we just got out.
And she sees that you're upset, Tam. She says, what's wrong, Tam?
There's a man in there who is only imagining that he could do in this place was to end his life. And that's tragic to know that someone couldn't even imagine anything joyful, or that the only joy he could imagine is the end of his life. It's just hard to think of.
And the little bird sort of chirps and turns her head.
I put a hand on Tam's back. I say, I'm sorry, Tam.
We need to keep going. What's the next one? Reason? Spirit?
the man, before he did that bad thing that he wanted to do so much. And then Marie takes a second, like, puts a hand on her chest and breathes really heavy. He said that there were butchers that knew about the other two ones, and that we had to go north of the graveyard.
Spitz, does that mean anything? Butchers?
And she sort of turns her head and says, "Yeah, I remember the butchers. They're somewhere around here." And she sort of looks aimlessly. Something about her has always been sort of off and vacant. She doesn't remember things.
Still with my head down, I just kind of grab the straps of my satchel and start walking north, looking for the secret path.
I follow him.
Okay.
And I kind of look back, see Tam's following me, and I'm like, fucking figures.
You mean you're welcome?
You
All
head
right,
up
so-
towards the graveyard, and as you enter the graveyard, everything seems a bit dimmer now. You've seen a man slit his own throat with his imagination, and you realize that the weight of this world that you've experienced in various forms so far is beginning to take its toll on your psyche. You're beginning to start feeling more gray, like the world itself, that like you're walking through shallow water. Not the physical weight, but the emotional weight that it's tolling on you, and you each see it. You each share a look between each other, seeing that this isn't going to be an easy quest, that this place is where dreams and people come to die. And as you begin moving through the graveyard, you head to the back wall, to the north wall. And it's a large cobblestone wall up against a tree line.
As we're walking through the graveyard, Marie kind of looks sideways at Tam. The two of us are like walking a little bit behind the boys. And she says, "My daddy did that, when I was 18 or so, after Sarah died and my mom left and everything. Not with a mirror or a knife, but, he was gone all the same."
There's just so much in this world that's full of life and love, and how can someone give up like that?
It's this demon we're chasing that does it to people. He touched our lives and we all withered away.
And we really need to stop him. I'll stop the boogeyman.
I know, we have to, right? Sorry.
And
I think this place, Marie, it's going to make us want to think that way too. And we can't let it. We got to remember the good things.
Right.
And as the two of you are talking, walking to the back, Tam, you notice something from the corner of your eye. Someone running between the tombstones.
There's someone over there. I run towards the person and call out, "Hello?"
And Georgie and Matt, you both snap your heads and you see where Tam is running.
Wait, Tam!
And
I
Tam
chase after her.
heads a good distance ahead, and Tam, you see a figure crouch behind sort of a large stone depicting a horse. And,
You don't need to hide.
And as
Who are you?
As you round the corner, you see a young boy crouched. And as you turn, he stands up and you see Luke, gaunt,
Luke.
staring back at you.
Whoa.
Tam?
Luke, what's wrong with you? And I'm running up to him.
And he throws his arms around you, and you can feel his ribs. He's thin, and he smells, but something about him feels like Luke. His hair is matted and stricken with different substances, maybe blood or ichor. And but you can feel him in your arms, and he hugs you deeply, and he breathes you in.
I'm here now, Luke.
As the three of you round, you see Tam hugging Luke.
Oh my god, Luke!
Guys.
I got up too.
And he throws his arms around you, Georgie, and even you, Marie. He doesn't even question it. He throws his arms around you.
She's looks like she's seen a ghost. This is a man that she's only ever known in the future as a dead man.
And he steps
Little
back.
boy now.
And he says, "Maddie, I lost you. I thought." And he throws his arms around you as well.
You won't ever lose me again, Luke. I promise you that.
What are you doing here, Luke? How did you get here? What's going on?
And he sort of just looks up, similar to how little blackbird on your shoulder Georgie is, and he sort of looks around and says, I don't know. I just know this place is dangerous, and you guys need to leave.
I look inside Mary's bag. I kind of go in there to rummage around without ever knowing. Marie, sorry. And I look for food or anything to give Luke.
Yeah, I have.
She got bubble gum.
I got some Bazooka Joes. I got Fun Dip, so sugar
Fun
and
Dip for sure.
yeah. I have 2
Yeah, I'm a
packs.
kid.
You can
Yeah,
have
well,
one.
yeah. So I say, Marie, do you mind? And I give one to Luke.
No, of course. You're so skinny, Luke.
No, I thought you were gonna be like, no, my fun.
Not my Fun Dip.
It's fine.
Fine, but I want the stick.
I stole it for me.
And
Taking Tam's cue, I reach into my satchel and grab like one of the Joe Louis that I took from Luke's house anyway.
Nice. It's like, here's your Joe Louis.
as you extend your hand, he denies both of you. No, guys. And he actually pushes past you, and he sort of turns around and he's like, "What? You shouldn't be here. Why are you here?"
We're fighting the boogeyman. We got his appetite, and we're looking for his reason. And Georgie, what's the other one?
Reason.
His spirit.
Spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. We fought a spider lady.
Why are you here in the graveyard?
Well, it seems as good a place as any. You're right about this place. It is dangerous.
We started with the boogeyman's appetite, and we had to find that here in the graveyard.
What are you doing in the graveyard?
And again, he sort of gets that look. I don't know.
Besides, Luke, I thought you told it it's not that dangerous. If we don't see it, it can't hurt us.
How long have you been here?
I don't know. And you can see he's starting to get frustrated by your questions. I don't know. Like as if he's trying to remember, but he can't.
Well, don't worry about it, Luke. You're with us now, and you're safe.
Is he real? Can we tell? Is he as real as us?
I don't know. Give me a roll.
Well, I don't know. What do I roll?
I don't know. What do you roll?
GM. Great.
Farming roll.
How hardy is he in terms of wither?
Oh, it looks like a good steed.
How would you?
Winter.
If what I'm saying is, if Marie is doubting whether he's real, how would Marie test? Like she wouldn't be like, GM, what do I do? What would
We use
Marie do?
juvie and we like punch him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you can't meta it. You got to be like, Marie's there.
I don't know.
Then you can't test.
Seek, I guess.
Sure. Okay, what are you going to seek?
I'm gonna seek if, like, he smells like us. If
Perfect.
He,
okay, so let's see.
if he, like, we're hugging him. If he feels as solid as us. You know what I mean?
You don't need to roll for that. I can tell you, he smells rank, and he feels like
Solid.
as real as anything in this world. Yeah.
I guess I would need something more like imagination to be able to discern
Sure.
whether.
Yeah, I could be as a dreamer. I'm observant, so maybe I can ignore any environmental conditional penalties to visibility or hearing. So if there's something magical,
You can try.
maybe I could ignore
Sure.
that.
I think we should know if he's like an illusion or not.
I'm gonna expel one imagination to do it.
Okay, so you're going to test to see if there's
Anything going on here that's not meeting the eye. Yeah.
Okay.
If he's not a boy trapped here like us.
Okay.
Yeah. If he's not human.
Sure.
Okay. So I do that.
Okay. At what grade do you succeed?
Well, I don't know. If I expel the imagination points, then I guess my imagination is now at 8th level.
Okay. So you succeed at an 8th level.
Yeah.
Something definitely seems off about him. Yeah.
That's all I get from that.
Well, you have no frame of reference. Like you're not like.
Like, is he Luke? Is it the spirit of Luke? Is he corporal? Is it his
He
body? Does he
seems
look
like
he's
Luke,
been?
yeah.
Does he look like he's aged?
He
is he
looks
exactly how I
like-
remember him last time I saw him?
He looks like Luke the last time you saw him, but he looks more gaunt. He looks frailer. He looks thin.
Does he look
as if he's tried to survive in this world? But something does definitely seem off about him.
Is he corporeal?
Does he
You
look
can
like he's
touch
got
him,
any
yes.
dirt or soil on him that would be familiar with that outside of our clubhouse? I've been digging a little bit much there, but you know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean.
I mean to say that did he jump off the clubhouse?
And
is that why he's here?
no, it doesn't seem like he did. No.
Okay.
Doesn't have any wound marks on him or anything.
Not that you can see. I mean, he's wearing clothes. You can ask him to strip down if you want. Come on, taking him down.
Luke, show us your naked body.
Just show us all of it.
Hi, Luke. Nice to see you.
I mean, I get what you're trying to get, but you know what I mean.
By
It's
the
like,
way, this is Marie Schultz, the cougar in grade 8.
Well, I'm just trying to say, okay, like my logic is.
I totally get what you're asking, and I'm saying in your moment, Tam, yeah, you're using your ability and you feel something's off, but how you could even quantify that is really tough. You're trying to search for ways to be like, okay, something about this is weird. You know, it's like rolling a history check on a creature that you've never learnt about. You know, like in D&D or whatever. If you don't know it, you don't know it. So you can assume things. You can be like, something seems weird about him, whether that means he's good or bad, or whether that means he's Luke or not Luke, or whether that's just the way he's affected in this world. It's really tough to tell.
So essentially, the difference that Tam is noticing is not that he's in this Grimlands like we are, and it's strange because he feels different.
He does not feel this. Yeah, exactly. You can tell right now he does not feel the same as the rest of you.
Okay.
Right,
I'm going to undo my shoelace, and I'm going to tie it around my wrist and Luke's wrist. And I'm going to imagine it as a chain. And I'm going to actually say, this way we can't lose you again.
Okay, so as you try to do that, he sort of pulls his hand back a bit, and he says, why are you doing that?
We've already lost you before. Maddie says he saw you earlier, and I don't want that to happen again. And I'm afraid of this place, Luke. It's dangerous here, and we need to stay together.
And he's
Give me your hand, and I reach again for
and sort of backs away as he does, and he pulls his hand back again, and he says, no. And he looks
Luke,
at the
it's
three
me.
of you, and his eyes are sort of dim, and he looks between the four of you, and he just kind of says, no, and he continues backing away.
Marie pulls out the compact mirror, JR's compact, her powder, and looks at him.
Through the mirror?
Tries to get a glimpse.
And you see him. Yeah, he's just there.
Great. And
No,
she
I'm not
pretends
making
that
fun of
she's
it. That's
just
a good
like
idea.
checking her hair.
Yeah.
Luke, it's Georgie, it's Matt, it's me. Doesn't that mean anything?
We're here to help you.
And he keeps shaking his head as he keeps backing up. He says, no,
Maddie, tackle him. We need to not lose him again.
And as you go to move, he turns and he runs.
Maddie, you're faster than he is.
Yeah, like kid
no,
speed
you're
or
fine.
supernaturally fast.
No, like kid speed, like just a kid running away. And Maddie, you're off him, like on a second. You're chasing on him. And all he does is he turns a corner on a gravestone and he's gone. He vanishes into thin air.
And we run up and we catch up behind him. Where'd he go?
Maddie, why didn't you catch him?
God damn it, Maddie.
Guys, forget it. It's okay.
Is that what Spitz said?
That's what Spitz says. No, Spitz just kind of lands.
No, he just
fucks over and
disappeared. He just vanished.
Why did he run away? Says Spitz.
He was afraid to stay with us, I guess. I don't know. He seemed confused and
You
different.
can't hold on to a spirit. It needs to be free. And I think Luke is here, but he's not here. I think he didn't come to this place in the same way we did. I think he's trapped here. And I put the shoelace back on my shoe.
You might be right, but either way, he's got a point. We shouldn't be here either. We're not safe here. We should get to the butchers as soon as possible.
What's the name on the gravestone of where he disappeared?
It's one you've already read.
Okay.
Ellen.
But it's not like Luke.
Underhill.
No.
Okay.
And I start
That
making
was a
my
good
way
one.
back towards the wall. we came from.
Is there a wall all around the circumference of the graveyard? We're
Yes.
looking to the north, right?
Correct. So you're at the north wall, and you're sort of walking along it, and you come to a flat stone that's engraved, and it's sort of inset into the wall, or inlaid into the wall. And there's writing on it. And the four of you sort of walk around it, and you see it looks to be a bit of a, maybe a riddle. It says, "Say my name and I'll cease to exist."
Silence.
Sorry, this is on the wall?
And Tam says silence, and in a moment, the stone begins moving and slides off to the side and reveals a cavernous sort of hole leading off into the woods, the top of which is mud covered, roots splaying down, and the ground sort of sinks in a little bit, and it leads off into darkness.
Good job, Tam.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard that one before.
It was from Chris's big book of riddles.
I guess the characters aren't very original.
Belloc. No.
Yeah. Big friend and hinter. Is there any sound, movement? What does it smell like?
It smells like the earth. It smells similar to. It smells like earth. I want to say similar to the mound that you came out of, Georgie, but I don't want to enact the fears that you have going into this place necessarily.
Okay. Gotcha.
But it does smell similar without the threat.
Earthy.
Oh, gotcha. So
Yeah, it smells-
earthy without a hint of rotting children.
Yes.
So the hole in the earth smells like earth.
Well, I can be more descriptive if you'd like, but it's just gonna be
No,
redundant at this point. It doesn't smell. It doesn't
What,
smell.
what, what's the mineral breakdown?
Yeah. You get some iron.
Nitrogen.
Oh, tungsten.
Yes, it's a good percentage.
Tungsten?
It's a good year. Good ores.
Should we
in
roll
the year.
4-H?
Is it a
Roll for
pee
ore.
smell?
Yeah, there's a bit of urine. There's a bit of homeless smell. There's a bit of water dripping.
All right.
And a hint of potpourri.
Poo-poo-roo.
All right.
Okaroo.
So I turn to the others and say, "No time like the present." And I see Marie has her lighter, probably getting
Yep.
it ready.
So much methane. It's just boom.
Oh, you'd think we would have smelled that. All the smelling we did.
Not in Grimm's methane doesn't smell.
Oh, dag.
It's special methane.
You're all dead.
All right, yeah. So no, you see the darkness before you and the path leading into what must be a hill because it becomes almost underground.
I think we need to bring some hope with us. And I imagine some fireflies to actually follow us in there.
Nice.
And they do. In fact, the fireflies come from the grave of fireflies. And they all sort of come and illuminate, and they begin dancing around you all as you enter.
And once again, I put the Jolie back in my satchel, realizing that's not what Tam was talking about.
With the hope.
We need hope.
Here's a Joe Lewis.
Do you have a flaky? Oh, no.
Oh my god, passion fruit.
That's courage. I need to.
That's courage. So you enter into the secret path.
Caramel.
But it's I like caramels. But the lights they're warming. The pathway feels almost magical as you're walking through the mud walls and the I know, Chris. Dirt ceilings. I'm reading a comment because I'm reading both. The dirt ceiling and the roots coming down, which would have been a pretty frightening experience passing through, feels different, with Tam sort of leading the way and the fireflies lighting your path. And as you come to the other side, you begin seeing the light, the dim starlight, and you exit into a small clearing. In the clearing, you see 3 relatively small houses, and you also see in the center 3 men standing over a stump, arguing loudly.
Okay, hold up. So we went through a tunnel
Correct.
into a clearing? So is this
Correct.
underground or not?
Yeah, it sort of it dipped down and then it came up. And as you you don't have to exit, but as you come into the clearing, you hear the sounds of their arguments. You see the roofs of 3 houses. You see 3 figures in the starlight, and it looks like you're exiting maybe through the base of a large tree next to a hill.
Into the
Clearing.
outdoors.
Correct.
Okay. And there are 3 men
Arguing.
arguing. What are they arguing about?
Sounds like they're arguing about an object, saying, "No, it's mine. I deserve it. No, I deserve it. It's mine. No, I deserve it. It's mine." And it sort of just continues in various forms of that.
It's not escalating, they're just hanging out.
So what do the men look like? Are they big, scary?
Are you exiting the... I want to give you the opportunity to hide if you want to. Or you can exit the clearing.
What do the voices sound like? Gruff?
One sounds gruff, one sounds pretty mild, and one sounds very timid. In
Are they
fairy
3
tale
Billy
fashion. One of each.
Is Spit still with us?
Yeah, of course.
Are these the butchers?
And she sort of just nods in the darkness.
Are they dangerous?
And she sort of just shrugs.
So what do you think we should do? I imagine they're arguing about what is this, reason? Spirit?
Maybe we can help them.
Maybe we should just get closer and see if we can hear what they're talking about.
Wait, you don't think we should just sneak around and try to steal the thing?
Yeah, let's see what's in the houses.
I thought we needed to ask them where things were.
Yeah, you're right. We don't even know what it looks like.
Yeah,
Could
the
be a
man said that the 3
door
butchers
handle.
would tell you where reason and spirit are, not that they would necessarily house it.
Right.
Necessarily.
I still want to see what kind of shit they have in the houses.
Kleptomaniac.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why we have no reason to be afraid of these men.
You're right, Tam. We don't.
This is a scary place full of big spiders and...
Well, Marie, if you're scared, then you can hide, okay?
Okay.
And I still have the blanket, and it can't be any bigger spiders than we just saw. Like, seriously, it can't be bigger spiders than what we just dealt with.
All right, let's go talk to them. I'm feeling confident, and I walk out.
Me too.
Okay, you walk out, and again, you see now in pretty fair detail 3 houses with rotted roofs. They look ancient, and the material, you're not even sure what it is. It might have one time been wood. They're relatively small houses. They have a single plain door and a window on the front of them, and they're offset against the back wall of this clearing up to the forest. And sort of next to them, there's a few, there's like a wood pile, and there's a path leading off to the left and a path leading off to the right. You can see through the starlit sky. And as you approach, you see 3 men of relatively equal height arguing. And they're standing over a stump. And in the stump, it looks to be a cleaver. And you can see it glint in the starlight as you approach. And the 3 men almost pay no mind to you as they continue arguing. I deserve it. I deserve it. I think I deserve it. No, I do.
I glance nervously to Tam, or confusedly, more like.
Good evening.
And from left to right, you see the timid one is sort of to the farthest to the left of the stump. The one in the middle seems to be sort of the most level-headed, and the one at the right is a bit shorter, hairier, and he's the gruffest of the 3. And he turns to you and says, "What do you want?"
I heard you guys arguing. We're looking for some people. Maybe we can help you, and maybe you can help us.
"No, you can't help us." And the timid one says, "Well, actually, maybe they could." And the one in the middle says, "Hold on. Help us how?"
Well, you seem to be arguing about something, and Georgie here is pretty darn smart, so he might be able to figure something out for you. Right, Georgie? I push him a little forward.
And Georgie, you pushed a bit forward, and the 3 men sort of lean into you, and the gruffest one says, "Why do you think you can help us?" "Yeah, why do you think you can help us?"
You're arguing about something. Maybe you need an outside party, someone who isn't, I don't know, biased to whatever your situation is.
And the timid one sort of looks sheepishly at the other two and says, maybe if we all agreed, we could listen to them. And the gruff one turns and says, I don't know how much I like that, but maybe it could be a way to settle this long argument. Well, I'm not opposed to that. All right, maybe you can help us. Just the two of you?
Yeah.
Why would you want to help us? Says the
Well,
little one.
We're looking for someone, and you probably know this place better than we do. So if we help you, you can help us.
Well, maybe if we knew what you needed help for first.
I
We're
look
looking-
at George.
We're looking for the boogeyman's reason or spirit, and/or.
Says the middle one as he looks to the other two. The gruff one's smiling, the timid one sort of shyly smiling as well. So you're after to stop the boogeyman, eh?
Yeah, well, I mean...
It's fine,
I
we don't owe him anything anymore. In fact, he owes us. All right, how about this? I think the three of us agree that maybe an outside party at this point could settle this argument we've been having for as long as I can remember. Yeah, okay. What say you? And he turns to the gruff one. Yeah, all right, let's see what they have to say. But the deal is whatever they say goes. And they both turn to the timid one, and he says, yeah, okay. And they turn back to you, George, and they say, all right, here's the situation. This cleaver was our father's. Each of us thinks that we deserve it. Who should get it?
Have you talked about the possibility of just sharing it?
And the gruff one steps forward and says, we're never going to share it. One of us gets it, and that's the story. Listen, I deserve it because I'm the oldest, and I was promised it. And the middle one steps forward and says, yeah, but I actually need a cleaver, and I'm the only one that cuts meat around here. And the timid one steps forward and says, yeah, but I was Dad's favorite, and he loved me the most. The gruff one steps forward and says, yeah, but the timid one doesn't even use a cleaver. He doesn't need it. And the middle one steps forward and says, yeah, but he killed our father, pointing to the gruff one. And the timid one points to the middle one and says, yeah, but he hated our father. And the gruff one turns back to you and says, so who should get it?
I'll be back there, Georgie.
The oldest brother, just to clarify, because that came off a lot more confusing. I don't mean it to be confusing. The oldest brother thinks he deserves it because he's the oldest and he was promised it, but he killed the father. The middle child feels like he deserves it because he needs a new one, and he's the only one that apparently uses a cleaver, but he hated the father. And the youngest son thinks he deserves it because he was his dad's favorite, but he doesn't use a cleaver, nor does he really need one. And they each look to you, Georgie.
Well, you each have very good arguments. I mean, I'm all for choosing the middle path, but you say I've got to pick one person?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to share this. And you said that you could help, so which of the three of us deserves it?
Well, where is the reason and the spirit? I want you to tell me first.
We're going to tell you when you tell us who gets the cleaver, kid. Or I'll tell you right now, we'll pick up the cleaver and we'll use it on you. And all three of them sort of nod. Yeah. Even the timid one's like, mm-hmm. I want to stress, even the timid one is a pretty large man.
I look back at the hole where everyone came from and just mouth, help.
So I what if we
So
both
Maddie and Marie are just
everyone gets
hanging
the
back.
cleaver?
Marie has to literally make a roll in order to talk to anyone who is not a kid.
Oh, that's
I
right.
was, I was
Make a
thinking,
roll
I was
for
just
if you
throwing
want.
it out to the universe that this is a good distraction. If you wanted to do something else, I don't know if that was something you had in mind, but
And this is logic and reasoning, so Maddie is out. And so he's just going to hang back with Marie thinking, yeah, she wanted to be Cool Kids Incorporated, so I'll hang out with her a little bit.
Can't we just break the cleaver, guys? What if we broke the cleaver and everyone gets a piece?
Are you saying that to them?
Yeah.
No, we're not going to break the cleaver. No, why would no? That you can't use a cleaver if it's broken. That's not an option. You don't think we thought about that? We've been arguing for over 100 years. You don't think that was the first option? We can't share it. One of us gets it, and that's the deal.
what
You
about
said
your
you'd
mother?
help. What?
What about
Your
your
mother.
mother? Do you have a mother?
No.
I'm gonna try to make a pluck test to see if I can actually reason with these people.
Sure.
Nice.
Nice. 1 grade up.
Great. So I did a great job.
So
I
you
rolled
s-
a 6.
So you succeed
overall.
at a level 6?
Mhm.
Fantastic. So yeah, you can definitely speak to them.
She kind of peeks her head out from behind Maddie. What? So you're butchers, right?
You're a fair distance away.
Yeah. You're butchers, right?
You're just shouting from the darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're butchers.
What are you butchering?
Meat.
What
Who
kind?
are you? I've never seen you before.
I'm not going to yell across the lot. Come here, little girl.
Yeah, she like slowly walks forward. Sorry, it's a very big clearing and I'm really tired. What are you've been arguing for 100 years?
I don't know. Seems
About
like
it.
too long.
Cleaver, right? So what are you butchering? Only the middle one needs it. What meat are you cutting up?
Well, we cut whatever we can find in the woods, and then we sell it. That's how we make our living.
Who do you sell it to?
People that pass by on the road.
Like us?
Do you want to buy meat?
Not me.
Then no, not you.
Well, I guess the person who needs it should have it, right?
That would be
And
me
then
then.
She looks to either side, Georgie
And
and Tam.
he turns to the other two and he says, "You hear that? She said me, guys."
That's the practical
And the
answer.
gruff one looks angry and he says, "But I'm the one that deserves it. I'm the oldest. He promised it to me." And the youngest
I
says,
look at
"But
the
he loved me the most."
tree. Does it look different?
The what?
Does it look odd at all? The tree? The tree stump itself. Is it weird?
No. Looks like a regular old tree stump. I mean, it's got, Sumerian cantations on it, but that's about it.
Oh, yeah. Aside from that?
Tattoo. Yeah, no, it looks normal.
What will you do with it if you get it?
I'll use it the way I always used cleavers.
What about you? She turns to the other two.
The timid one says, "I loved my father. I'd keep it in his memory. I would polish it every day and take care of it, the way he'd take care of me." And the oldest says, "I don't know what I'd do with it, but I deserve it. He swore to me that it was mine." Do promises mean nothing to you kids?
I
No?
don't know who your father was, so I don't know what his promises were.
Well, my
I
word is
have
my
a tricky
bond.
situation with fathers.
So again, Harlan, one's going to polish it, one's going to use it, and one just wants it.
The youngest wants it for the memory because he loved his father. Yeah, it seems like he would covet it. One would actually use it, and one feels like he's duty bound to it, that he deserves it because he was promised it.
Well,
If we give it to the youngest, it's likely the oldest will just kill him for it anyways. And if we give it to anyone but the oldest, won't you just kill them for it? I mean, you're a murderer. I say this to the old man.
Says who?
Says you killed your father.
He deserved it.
Why?
Well, don't you deserve the cleaver? And if anyone else gets it, you'll feel wronged.
That's true.
Now,
Why did he deserve to be murdered?
And he looks at you. Because he was a bad man.
if he's a bad man, why do you covet it? I say to the young boy.
I don't think he was a bad man. He's not a young boy, he's just timid.
So timid.
That's okay.
Aren't you mad at your brother for killing your father?
Yeah, I am.
You don't seem like you're mad.
Oh, I can't do anything. He scares me.
Well, I think that you guys all have really great points. But I've been thinking, and I might have a solution, but you're not going to like it. Middle one. You use the cleaver, right?
I do.
You cut up meat,
Mm-hmm.
chop bones.
Yes,
That's got to be hard on a cleaver, right?
it is.
Well, after you're done cutting up meat, I'm sure you're really, really busy and tired, right?
Sometimes.
Well, if you don't look after that cleaver, then it's going to fall apart, and nobody's going to get it.
Okay.
You need someone who's going to be able to polish it after you're done cutting it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I turned to the youngest. You loved your father. You and your father got along, and he cared about you, and he cared about his cleaver, and he wants it to be looked after, right?
Yeah, he did.
He doesn't want it to fall apart, breaking bones of pigs and whatever other creatures you have out here.
No,
But he didn't want it to not be used either, right?
I guess.
So he needs it to be polished and looked after. And you can do that.
Okay.
And I turn to the gruff one. And I say, most of all, you. Your father made a promise to you.
He did.
Even though you killed him, a promise needs to be kept. Do you care about your brothers?
No.
Oh. Well.
This whole thing falls apart then.
With them. Well, what if I were to tell you that you could own something without actually having it? It's yours. The cleaver is yours. But it doesn't have to be with you for you to have the right to it.
I own it.
You own it.
And I use it.
And you use it.
But I can keep it?
You look after it.
And the three of them look at each other. And they look down at the cleaver. And they look at you. 4. And I'm not going to make you roll, because I think that's a good solution. And I know Rin did it, so she'll win.
Yeah, that's
she'll
her.
win endgame. She's going to win endgame. And yeah, the gruff one pulls it out, and he looks at it and says, "This is mine, but you can use it." And he hands it to the middle brother, and he says it, "And I'll give it to you after." And the timid one sort of nods and smiles and heads back to his house. And actually the gruff one does too, and the middle one hangs out, and he holds it because he's the one using it. And as they part ways, he turns to the 4 of you, whoever's there, I guess the 3 of you, and he says, "All right, you helped me with a problem that lasted a long time. Let me help you with your problem. You need reason and spirit to stop the boogeyman. No small undertaking for a few kids. I guess Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll tell you about reason and
We
spirit.
could really use a cleaver.
I was just thinking that.
If you wouldn't mind, we could just borrow it really quick.
No.
Oh.
And I'll tell you where reason and spirit are. But first, I need you to get something for me. The boogeyman. He promised us something. A trade long ago. And he never delivered. In his home, on the far side, past the field. It's where he lives. In his home, there's a jar. Get that jar and bring it back. And I'll tell you where reason and spirit are, and what's more, I'll tell you how you could get them safely.
Wait, you already told us that you would tell us what reason and spirit were if we helped you with the cleaver.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
No. Not fair at all. A promise is a promise. You said you would.
Reason's in the garden, spirit's in the pumpkin patch. If you think that's enough to go on, by all means you can try. But I promise you that if you go without understanding how to actually get those two pieces, you will die.
What's in the jar?
Lost souls. And he reaches to his back pocket and he pulls out a crumpled piece of paper. You are obviously new here to the Grimm lands. Funny, one of my previous suppliers, I suppose you could call it, was about your age. And he drew this. I think you could use it. And he hands you a crumpled map of the Grimm lands. I've posted in the Discord chat. Thank you to Michael Weber, who drew up this map. And it pretty much shows everything you're going to need to know. So if you want to check out Discord, you can, but let's share it in the meantime.
Of course there's a pumpkin patch in this world. Why pumpkins? It's like the creepiest vegetable.
I like
Creepiest
pumpkins.
squash.
I think it's because that's what Tam was talking about, how we need hope and we need to bring something good so we can make pumpkin spice so everything will be good.
Yeah, pumpkin spice.
Everything will be basic.
Thank good.
Everything will be basic.
They didn't have pumpkin spice when we were kids.
No, they didn't. I mean, they
The
had
dark
it,
time.
but not in the best form, the latte form.
But I have a strong memory of it, which means that us being adults, it wasn't a dream. That's how we figured this out. Okay.
All right, so what are we looking for here?
Home is on the far side past the field. Is that to mean the east side of the field?
Sorry, home?
You said the home of the boogeyman
Mm-hmm.
is on the far side
He
past
said it's the south,
field.
sorry. And he reaches over the map and he points.
He's showing us a map?
Yeah, he handed you this map.
Great. So the mound area?
It's centered here, BB's.
Sorry, I'm looking on the Discord.
Ah.
BBs. So
Yep, I got it. Right down by the big words, the garden Wensies, just to the bottom right, just underneath the mill.
Past the
you'll see
bridge.
BBs by the bridge.
And he leans back, bringing back his long finger. And he says, so the choice is yours. But if you bring me that jar, I will tell you something that you'll need to know. And now that you're looking at the butcher up close, he seems something off about him. All three of them, really. Their teeth were longer than normal, but not sharp and just long teeth. Their faces gaunt and long and pale. Their hair jet black, and their fingers long, as if they've been stretched thin. But not awfully that thin, not all thin. And he brings his finger back from the map, and he says, what do you say?
why can't you go get it?
BB's house is only really welcoming for people of your age and size and stature.
Because he's gonna eat us?
No, he's long since gone. It's just meant to be inviting for children, not so much for us.
All right.
What are you gonna do
Is
with
it an
these?
actual home or more of just like a long white van?
Is it like a home or a cottage or like a chalet, maybe?
It is neither a home nor a den. Think of it as an end. But not for you. If you get in and out with my jar.
What will you do with the jar? What will you do with the souls?
There are souls. They were promised to us. They are lost. We will help them find their way.
What does that mean?
It means that you don't need to know.
Precocious.
All right. We'll get the jar. We'll go to BB's. Thank you for your help.
All right.
We'll see you soon.
I hope so, he says as he turns, the glint of the cleaver in his belt as he
You
turns.
sure we can't borrow that cleaver? Just
and heads back to the house, the middle house, obviously. Or just to fuck it up, he goes to the right house. Just to make it not so perfect.
No!
Not so perfectly even. And as you're standing in the starlight, you see the moonless sky lighting the clearing, the three houses before you, and the map in your hands. And the writing of the map feels familiar. And you recognize it, Tam, as you look down and you realize that this map was made a long time ago, very possibly by Luke. And between the four of you, you share a knowing look, ready to head to Boogeyman Bannon's home. And we're going to end there for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Grimm Chapter 8. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been a blast. You guys are fantastic. The chat tonight was off the hook, but it's not even up for debate. Rin's going to take
Rin.
it home.
Oh,
for the
yeah.
fucking
Nailed it.
ending.
Totally
100%.
compromised the shit out of that.
She did so well, and I went into it being like, "There's no compromise. You have to pick one." And then I was like, "Nah, that's too good not to give it a fair." Because I was like, "Whatever, that's like too." There was no real solution to that. I just want to see what you.
Yeah, I
guys do.
figured you just wanted us to pick.
Well, there wasn't a solution. There were consequences. Like no matter who you pick, there's going to be consequences, and there still will be. But it's just I wanted to see where you logicked it out, and you guys. Well, Rin, I should say, nailed it.
How bomb would it be to sit at a table with someone like Rin who's like, actually, I found the correct answer.
Not only that, I would respect the hell out of looking at her notes and like just being like,
absolutely.
because there's nothing more, I don't know, like inspiring than someone taking notes for a game you're doing. It's like the biggest compliment you could ever get. So awesome, Rin. You win Endgame XP for multiple reasons, but the most immediate being the fantastic success of solving that little problem. Great job tonight, guys. Great role playing, great problem solving skills, all that kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun. We are back next week with Grimm Chapter 9, and then that following Saturday with the finale, Grimm Chapter 10. So you're gonna wanna hold on to your butts for this, guys, because these guys have a little bit more to do.
It's so soon. A week and a half. We're gonna be on stream for you guys for 24 hours.
Yep. It's gonna be fun.
Watching Harlan put on socks.
Watching me put on socks. Just a little bit at a time. To have to stretch that out somehow.
I really want, just in the middle of whatever game that you're like streaming for everyone, you're gonna be playing Doom at 4 a.m. You're like, let's take a real quick break, and then you just like put your socks on another inch.
I will do it.
Let's see how that's going.
You just see. You know what? I'll have a sock cam. The sock cam.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Just like a constant running camera, just focused on myself.
Sure, for
Like the
sure.
Santa Claus, the radio stations when they track Santa's progression.
Exactly. And then I'm gonna have like segment like news, like weather updates, and be like, let's go into the sun cam right now, and I'll have like a little pop-up video here, and be like, yeah, you can see in the last hour we've had about a millimeter of
Special
growth.
report. I'm just having an incoming report on the
Pass
sun.
the bunion. Pass the
Imagine,
bunion.
just have like cut to you, like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get like a Skype call with Michael, who's walking down the street, and be like, oh, I heard last time that we went back a millimeter. It's always disappointing to retract, but if we have 24 hours to cover here, we're gonna need to cover a lot of ground, so I understand why. Back to you in the studio, Harlan. And then we get that fucking
Michael
green screen
Street
shit.
beat.
I want it to be a green screen, but not one that's working. Like, I just want it to be green.
My feet beat?
Feet beat.
Oh, the feet beat. That's good. Shit. All right, I gotta run with this idea. All right, ladies and gentlemen, yes, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. Friday night is the spooky stream. I'm gonna get real sexy. It's gonna be like right up here, and I'll be talking low, and we'll just be like, I'll have my candles lit, and we're gonna share a lot of spooky stories. It's the last one of Halloween month and Extra Life month. So I'm going to get real spooky and real personal. We're going to get real deep and dark. We're going to go into the psyche. We're going to talk about the fears, the wants, whether God exists. Whoa! He doesn't. Spoiler.
How do you split the uprights between?
It's gonna be one of those
spooky?
conversations.
Yeah,
right?
they're always like
very
that.
one-sided.
Listen,
Wall
they're all
of facts.
one-sided. It's just me talking to anybody who gives a shit. And that's this Friday night, and it's Layers of Fear. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm very, very excited. So please stop by. I would enjoy seeing you. I would. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the week. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And as my boy Chris always likes to say,
We'll see you around the table.
we will see you around the table, guys. Good night.
Yeah.